Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. 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 Grind the tape.
The tape.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
The tape.
UGA game day, boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet, see me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach, and the bench deep.
Right.
Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing, we gon' send them boys punting.
Yeah.
Black and red, got them dead on arrival. Defense hunkered down for the tie. Hey, you don't want it with the dogs. Film guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play, that's the day-to-day.
Yeah.
They know we ain't come to play, boy, it's UGA.
Right.
Kirby Smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back, like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We do a little bit different around here.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. The tape.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. The
Shut
tape.
up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up and grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape.
Shut up and grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up. The tape.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Tuesday evening here on the show. We have an absolutely loaded Tuesday show for you guys tonight. Duke and Darian Mensah settle on an agreement there. He is going to be eligible to play already on an official visit to the Miami Hurricanes. I'm surprised we already haven't seen a commitment edit from Hayes Fawcett. I think maybe we're avoiding full-fledged tampering allegations there, maybe delaying the inevitable on that one. We'll talk about that tonight. They finally did it. Did they finally correct a rule that we want to be corrected, have had wanted to be corrected for about 12 years now? We'll talk about that tonight. Schedule superlatives, way too early schedule superlatives talked about tonight. We also have some transfer film notes and first edition of off-season editions. We teased this one last night. Probably going to get to it tonight. Also going to let you know, I got it at like plus 300 odds that I survived tonight without an active like nasal leakage in the middle of the show.
Oh, nice.
I'm about as concrete face-filled as you can humanly possibly be. I think my body was like, all right, you wanted to sleep 15 hours out there in Miami? We're going to let you survive it a week when you get back so your wife doesn't get too mad at you for being sick and lazy. Bam! We're going to hit you the moment the first week of the off season starts.
Yeah.
You ever been a neti pot guy?
Nah, not a neti pod guy. That'll clean you up, huh?
It'll do wonders for
I mean,
you.
instead, I got a Nike T-shirt right here. We're just going to make sure we don't, leak all over the stage today.
Oh.
So,
All right.
Oh, sick.
hey, but
That's
we're
an alternative.
going to fight through the elements tonight, no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys dealing with anything? Y'all cleared
like
up?
A few
Y'all
days
good?
ago I was.
Yeah.
But I'm
I'm
much
chilling.
better
So
now.
you're the villain.
I don't know if
You're
that's-
patient zero?
I don't know if I'm patient zero. I mean, it's
Watch
winter
out now.
time. It's cold weather. I think you're bound to get it.
I am happy that it's just stopped right here. Nothing else. Just all in the nose. I'm good at no sore throat, no headache, no nut. Just concrete in the face.
Get some Vicks, dude. You'll be fine.
Get some Vicks. All right, we'll handle that. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Let's start with the news, boys. We have a smooth transition with the Darian Mensah stuff into some scheduling talk. Did Pete Golden do it again?
I'm pretty sure he did. It
looking
certainly
like
looks
it.
like it.
But Pete Golden did it to a football coach who probably ain't going to be going to the The microphone bitch and moan and complaining?
You'd imagine Missouri's probably not
Right,
going to be
so
a team. to do
Horatio
that.
Fields, is this my guy's name?
Yes.
Horatio Fields, a wide receiver who was at one place and then went to Auburn and then went to Missouri. Now he'll be transferring to Ole Miss after committing in the transfer portal process. This very actively seems to me like he was up there in Missouri. They did not have him on an actual, like, hold your feet to the fire type of contract. Ole Miss gave him a raise.
Yeah.
Now he's going to be a rebel.
Yeah, which this one probably not going to garner as much attention as the Luke Farrelly one.
Oh, of course not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because, one, again, like you just mentioned, Missouri, Drinkowitz, probably not going to be a program that's running to the microphone to call out Pete Golding and join Dabo Swinney in this fight against tampering. But also because, I mean, no disrespect to Mr. Fields, but he had 12 receptions for 106 yards this past year, so not really considered maybe one of these top portal prospects. I mean, Farrelly was like the best prospect that Clemson nabbed out of the transfer portal. They don't do a whole lot of it over there in Tigerland, but that was one of their best prospects, and Dabo Swinney made it very clear. If we were only taking one linebacker and we got our one linebacker, whereas, you know, Missouri, a team that likes to go into the portal, get some impact players, this is one of them. But maybe not blinking twice about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely not one of these things where I think it's going to get as much national attention, like you said, because I don't think Drink is going to have some Dabo Swinney rant about it. But then again, he does say some pretty outlandish stuff in front of a mic. So
he does.
He could come forward and be like, hey, here's what's going on. Now, they've obviously done some tampering themselves in the past, but they're not as pure as Clemson, not to accuse Missouri of doing anything.
I legitimately 100% believe the only Power 4 football coach that is as pure as Dabo Swinney is Dabo Swinney with regards to tampering.
Most likely,
like,
yes.
I saw Pete Thamel on Pat McAfee today. He was asked about, hey, will this actually enact some change? And Pete was like, well, you know, there's growing sentiment in favor of what Dabo did, and there's a lot of coaches in the coaching community really standing on a pedestal for Dabo and really applauding him for doing what he did. Ain't none of them doing it themselves. Ain't none of them doing it themselves because they're all dirty as hell. They're all dirty except for Dabo, and that's why Dabo's allowed to do this. But I would be flabbergasted, shocked. I don't know what I would do. I would maybe stop doing my hair on the show for a week if Eli Drinkowitz came out and lambasted Pete Golding the way that Dabo Swinney did.
The way that Dabo Swinney did, probably not going to happen. I will say, though, now it's weird because they did get really, really screwed over by Lane Kiffin here, but is Ole Miss kind of setting themselves up for just bad football karma coming into 2026? Like, they've been doing shady deals left and right. And I know that we might not subscribe to this. But
There might be 7 Ole Miss fans listening to us today. So they're only doing this because they feel like it's been done to them. Okay? So Ole Miss went through 7 weeks of just having their entire cabinet pillaged by a head coach that left them.
Right.
And all that being said, he only took 4 football players. But, hey, they were dirty. You know, he was FaceTiming Keelan Lacey, so we have the right to do whatever the hell we want. Mm-hmm. You know, that is the Ole Miss fan base's mentality. Pete Golden does what he does.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Those are the edits. That's the way it's going here. There is no losing with an Ole Miss fan base out right now.
I'm sure Lane Kiffin will also have some football karma his way this year. But I don't know. I feel like when you do stuff like this, it comes back to bite you in the ass. So we'll see. I could be absolutely wrong. They could be two of the most successful teams in the SEC.
It's kind of a hard one to put you on the spot. Who was the last one you were like, dude, football karma is going to get you, and then it did?
I mean,
or do you have an example? I don't know. Come back to me. Maybe do some thinking here and bring me some. Damn, bro, you really asked the football guys to stick one up you. Mm-hmm. What? Florida State?
Florida State was.
That NIL dude talking all that mess.
Ben Ingram was his name, I think it was.
Or Ben Ingram or something like that. Something super.
But
I got money.
They had that undefeated regular season in 2023. They go and play in the Orange Bowl. A lot of hype around Florida State. And then they publicized this massive NIL article about the Seminoles about how they ain't going nowhere.
And how they're way ahead of the game.
Way ahead of everybody. And then the next 2 seasons did not go the way that they wanted it to.
The 2024 Miami Hurricanes are my example of these shady wins at Cal and Virginia Tech. That was an interception. I claim this to this day. Have an easy path to the playoff, and all of a sudden, little old Syracuse ruins your season. That's football karma.
Chat saying Bobby Petrino is football karma. I don't think that to be the case. He will have, $900,000 paying jobs until he's in his mid-60s. I don't think Football Karma's gotten to him yet.
We could, I mean, depending on how things go in Ann Arbor, we could say what Michigan's going
Ah,
through.
yes. The
Football
football
Karma.
program as a whole.
Yeah.
The rare selling of your soul and then end up in, some type of purgatory is what it feels like they're in right about now.
In the spotlight. Oof.
But they end up lucking their way into Kyle Whittingham.
Well, we don't know how he's going to do yet. Like,
I'm pretty sure he's going to do okay.
we'll see.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, he could be a great coach, but
Did they, in your opinion, before you knew what Sharon Moore was doing on the side, you would argue that Kyle Whittingham is a much better football coach than Sharon Moore?
I would say yes.
I would
So-
argue that was the best coach you could have possibly ended up with, given the circumstances and the current climate around that program.
Agreed.
But also, like, Kyle Whittingham was kind of like, does this guy have one foot out the door as a whole in retirement?
Well, he did. I mean, he had
Oh,
already.
yeah.
Like, he spent the whole last 2 years naming his replacement.
Mm-hmm.
So the foot was already 100% out of the door there at Utah. But that also felt like a Mark Stoops, Lincoln Riley situation, or Bob Stoops. Stoops was the head coach of Oklahoma Sooners.
That was Bob.
Bob Stoops.
Because Mark is Kentucky.
Bob Stoops, Lincoln Riley situation where Lincoln was the hot new coach, and if you don't leave, we're going to lose him. So you might as well leave, and we'll just promote Lincoln. So same thing going on at Utah right now. Their defensive coordinator was like apparently up for a bunch of other jobs, and Kyle just decided, no, we're just going to let him be the head coach. I'll retire. No, I won't. I'll go to Michigan because their head coach just got arrested.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
worked out pretty good for everybody. Anyone watching the Shrine game? Random question. No.
We can't. We got work to do.
Did you know that Senior Bowl was practicing today?
I mean, I assumed
saw some
that they
clips.
were.
I didn't even know until the clips hit the timeline.
I just assumed it was happening because when you start getting the high weights and all of that stuff, that means all right, next day.
Here's the
probably
deal.
gonna be-
The guy doing the marketing there, fired.
I've seen tweets about it, but I haven't seen it.
Whoever's job it is to drum up noise around that game, fired.
Now, I mean, I'll repeat what I said yesterday. Of typically during this week, my entire timeline is flooded with media members in college football or draft analysts. Like, that is their job, and they are down in Mobile, Alabama, just absolutely covering and plastering social media with clips from the Senior Bowl. I have not seen that. I think I've seen maybe 2 or 3 tweets.
Yeah, I mean, again, you also wonder, like, obviously Nagy had a massive, massive influence on that. Was it kind of because he was this big figure, like the kind of the face
Yeah.
of it? Was he the
Yeah.
driving force behind it? I don't know. Obviously, him going to Oklahoma, they don't really have a face to push it anymore. So.
I think it was Nagy's willingness to put himself in front of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Nagy would plaster himself on every television network possible for November through now.
Right.
He was everywhere, and that's not the case with whoever is even running the Senior Bowl right now. So should be interesting. Also interesting, how about Duke bowing out to a $3 million settlement? That was the reporting I saw today. What did y'all see that Mensah settled for?
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, I didn't see what he settled for, but
I didn't see the details either. I just know.
So
it kind of-
I thought I saw a tweet that basically said they settled for $3 million out of court, meaning like Duke wanted to be done with this, Mensah wanted to be done with this, Duke just wanted to be made whole. That's what was made whole, and now Mensah's free to go to Miami, which is where he will end up. Breaking news: Darian Mensah transferring to Miami.
yeah, I mean, my initial reaction to reading the report and realizing that, okay, now Mensah is able to go into the transfer portal to do all is, I think Duke maybe kind of realized, I don't know if we actually want to agitate this beehive right now. I don't know if we want to get in this massive battle against one of our former players, and also like Miami probably somewhat involved in this, like probably had a reason to say, hey, Darian, we'll help you out with whatever you need to make sure that this gets done. Like,
I want to say this up front, and I want to get all the holier than thou out before we talk about the football meaning of this. I think this is horrible for Duke. I think it's even worse for the ACC. You just had your conference champions, 2 best football players, completely ripped from their football team by a conference member, and not so legally.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like, legal is a wrong term here, but what else do we have? It feels like it's outside of the moral bounds of where we're supposed to be at. This is a football player that they stole from Tulane for 2 years. They thought he was stolen for 2 years and under contract for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And all it took was, we'll buy you out of that, and a conference member. Because why? Because they struck out on like 3 or 4 targets in the portal.
yeah.
Because why? And also, it's also a bad look on the ACC in my opinion, because I think this is only able to happen, or it's only able to be done financially at Miami, probably because they got a lot of money, but also because you just allowed them to completely consume all $20 million for making the playoffs
Pretty
for the
much,
first time in
yeah.
your conference's history.
Yeah.
Like you allowed, like you made, I'm pretty sure they made Clemson give the money last year or split it up or something like that. And now Miami gets full autonomy of it. And like, or I don't know how that story went. Either way, you gave them $20 million. They earned $20 million. They turned around and spent a good portion of it stealing a player off of your conference title winner.
It is.
That's not a good look.
No,
Whether or not it's able to be. I'm not calling Miami dirty or anything like that. I'm just saying it's a bad look for the league.
I mean, I think you could say it's a little dirty.
Okay.
Going after a player that supposedly was under contract, like that's the whole reason Duke had all these lawsuits going, because they wanted to get. I mean, it's why there was a settlement, because supposedly Darian Mensah was under contract, and Miami said, we're not worried about it. Like, this wasn't a, hey, I'm entering the NFL draft. Oh, what's that? Okay, actually, I'll go to Miami. Like, this was a player that was planning to come back, was signed for all we know. So yeah, it's dirty. Like, but then again, what's going to be done about it?
And I mean, to be honest, like I know that Duke, like I believe Duke's entire goal of this was not to make sure that he stays at Duke, but they were trying to prevent what you're talking about, where we're trying to prevent one of our players to transfer within our conference to another team and go play for them, despite him being under a 2-year contract or whatever it is for our program, despite the fact where Washington had a different idea of, no, you're going to stay here, you're going to play here, despite you maybe not wanting to be here. Duke is like, you don't want to be here, that's fine, but you're not going to go and play for the Hurricanes the next season.
So from my understanding, Washington actually had a bigger stronghold to stand on with their contract, and that's why Demon had to stay there, far more so than what's going on here.
Okay.
Because I don't hear about Darian Mensah's agent leaving him.
Yeah.
I did hear that threatened from Demon Williams.
Yes.
Right.
His entire representation was like, buddy, if you do this, I'm out. Mm-hmm. Except for his lawyer. His lawyer's like, I'll take those fees.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
So I think that led me to believe that the Washington NIL contract was just written stronger. The Big Ten contract was written stronger than what we got going on in the ACC.
It could absolutely be that, yeah. I mean, it could also be a symptom of just morality from the agents of being like, I don't want to be representing this type of player. I don't want to be a part of this. So it's like, we don't know the details behind the curtains of it. So
Yeah, I mean, until you collectively bargain these things, I don't know how the contracts are not uniform. You know?
Right.
Where in the NFL and honestly every other line of work, the contracts are relatively uniform.
Right.
Here they are not. Every school's collective writes a different verbiage into their contract than every other collective. There is no uniformed set stipulations. This is how we operate.
yeah, I mean, again, I think going back and saying that the legal terms of this, like, you're going to have such an uphill battle making this a legal issue of like, oh, these are contracted employees. These contracts can't be voided once they sign them. Just make this an eligibility thing. No team is going to spend millions and millions of dollars to have a player sit on their bench a year. Do this to where you say, okay, if you want to transfer somewhere, you lose a year of eligibility. There has to be an appeal to where, okay, there's a legit reason why I'm transferring. Where it was like 5 years ago, where like the example of Georgia, where Luke Ford wanted to transfer back to, I believe it was Illinois,
Yeah.
to be closer
Syracuse.
No, it was Illinois.
It was Illinois.
somewhere of those type of schools where he wanted to be closer to his grandmother, and the NCAA didn't allow that. Like, that was a big what to do because it would affect his eligibility. Just start playing with eligibility. That's the only leverage the NCAA has.
I don't
here.
understand why we just completely went away from that. I don't understand.
COVID.
Yeah.
COVID's the timeline for all of this getting jacked.
I understand adding a year of eligibility because of COVID. I don't understand being like, I'm transferring 7 times in my 8-year career.
So the freedom of mobility came right around that time as well.
Right.
And I think a lot of that, I don't know why we were just like, yeah, do whatever you want. Transfer as many times as you want.
But that seems like so much of an easier result of just being like, all right, that's it. No more transferring. If you do, you lose eligibility, as opposed to we're going to try to do all these legal things where you have to collective bargain to where the contracts actually mean something once they're signed and you can't tamper with it. Just affect the eligibility.
Yeah.
Like, that seems like the easiest solution for me. I don't know why they aren't doing it.
And like some of these interconference transfer rules have had unintended consequences. Chris Drew, I should say, brought this up to me when I was on his show the other day. It's just the idea that like Nick Saban wanted the no SEC transfer rule implemented for the spring window because he didn't want his roster pillaged by teams that he was going to play.
Right.
Well, what he didn't know was that all that was going to do is make Ohio State better. All that was going to do was make Michigan better. All that was going to do is make Oregon better Because if Georgia can't steal from your roster, who the hell do you think's going to?
Exactly.
Those schools.
Yeah, I mean,
So there are some decisions that were made that had unintended consequences, eligibility being one of those, and freedom of mobility being another one.
Yeah, I
also think we're tied up into this era where, coaches get to do it, so players get to do it. Coaches can leave their contract whenever they want. They can get up and go change schools and leave you. So why can't I? We get into these discussions about equality, basically.
Right, and the simple answer to that is, well, the contracts are binding for those coaches. Those coaches have stipulations in their contract where, hey, if you want to leave early, that's fine. You might owe us money though, or this might have to happen, or there are rules set in place for them. There are actually things that they are held to in the contract that they sign. Players are not held to anything when they sign these contracts.
Let's talk about the actual football here. I think Darian Mensah is a tremendous football player. We broke him down today and put out that film study. If you haven't watched it, you should go ahead and do so. I think he's really, really special. He would have been my number one quarterback in the portal if he entered during the window that all these other guys did. If you matched him with Sorsby, Levitt, and him, and like the Lagway's not even in this discussion, nor is Raiola for me, like those three guys would have been separate of a discussion from transfer quarterback talents, he would have been one for me. And I think it would have been Sorsby two, distance, big distance, Sam Levitt.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely – there's no denying his talent. Miami certainly got an excellent passer of the football. I do think he did kind of – now this might just be a symptom of playing on Duke and the team that was around him. There were some moments last season where it was kind of like, all right, this guy's trying to do way too much. He's forcing balls. You're making turnover-worthy throws, which I would be worried about.
It's in the notes right here, Kirby. I thought he was selectively aggressive. If you really watched it – I mean, they didn't play in a ton of they went on to play for an ACC championship, but it wasn't like they played in a playoff scenario, but they played in a bunch of critical situations.
Right.
Okay. I'm sitting there watching tape today through 2 or 3 games, and I'm like, Jonathan, will you look up their fourth down rates? Because I feel like every possession, these dudes are in 4th and 5, and they're going. They're in 4th and 6, and they're going. They're in 4th and 7, and they're going. Come to find out, they were top 5 in attempts and top 4 in conversion rate. That tells you he's really, really good in the criticals, okay? And I thought pairing him and not just stealing the quarterback, but also going about stealing the wide receiver was probably the best thing that they did, because the Cooper kid was his security blanket. There's no doubt about it. Like every 3rd down, he's primary reading the progression. Every 4th down, he's primary read progression. Every, oh my God, I got to play hot right now. I got to click to the backside. Don't even worry about it. Cooper's open. Let's just try. And you could see that. There's 100% security blanket there with him, and I thought it was a tremendous decision to both poach him. I think he's a good athlete. I don't think he's a great athlete. I think there's going to be some people that are like, oh, we got this. No, you don't. You got a really, really good thrower of the football who can do some things with his legs when pockets break down, but it is not like some designed quarterback run guy. This is a tremendous pocket passer with elite ball placement. I was tremendously impressed with his accuracy over the middle of the field. Kirby, you weren't here, but you can attest to this. In my opinion, the 2 hardest balls to throw with tremendous ball placement are the digs running into our face, okay, and the deep overs running away from us as we're throwing. Okay, yeah. Those balls, like throwing vertically in stride is all about rapport and being able to throw routes on air, as simple as it is. But those deep overs, those have to be thrown with touch, anticipation, layer, right? We got to be able to throw those with tremendous ball placement. The dig working back into our face, that's a hard, firm throwing football, and we can tend to miss it by a good inch or 2 or foot or so. And that alone can stop a wide receiver. You never see it with this guy. The ball's always out in front. And he has tremendous arm talent as well.
Yeah, again, one of the best quarterback prospects that was in the portal, if you want to even say that he was in the portal for an extended period of time. But Miami will be very good this year.
Do you think they'll be the best offense in college football?
No, I think Texas has a chance to do that.
Texas has a chance to do that, yeah.
Because my biggest question, look, I know Alex Mirabal is a genius, and he's like a magician with regards to the offensive line, but they're going to lose 3, what I think to be pros, maybe 4, depending on how good you think James Brockemeyer is.
Right.
But I think Cooper, the right guard's a pro. I think the left tackle who had a bad day at the Senior Bowl today is a pro, the Markel Bell kid. Yep. And obviously Mawanoa is a pro. It'd be a first-round draft pick. So what did they do to replace that? Like I know they have Jackson Cantwell, but And I know Francis Malinois was ready to go as a true freshman, but is Jackson Cantwell going to be ready to play like Francis did as a true freshman? Because Francis played elite all SEC, all ACC caliber football as a true freshman. So there's a lot of offensive line questions, but I mean, from a weaponry core standpoint, they're elite.
Yeah.
Like they're really, really elite from a skill position, right? Quarterback in Mensah, Mark Fletcher returning for this group, Malachi Toney back, obviously. You get the Cooper kid who was a 1,000-yard receiver at Duke. And on top of that, I think Marion Brown is coming back for this roster as well. So there's plenty of weapons. I also love what they did defensively, Jonathan. Like, adding Damon Wilson, a 10-sack guy in the SEC, going to be a first-round draft pick, I would imagine, when he's done with his time at Miami. They have 3 other former 5-stars, including Marquise Lightfoot on the other side. So they're going to be really, really good again. I think they did everything they need to do from a rebuilding standpoint in a window that was really, really condensed for them.
Right.
Like I don't remember them doing a whole lot of work in the original portal window. Do you?
No.
Not to my.
I mean, they're in the midst of trying to win a national title. I don't remember them doing a whole bunch of work in that, January. What was it? January 2nd, January 16th window. They've done most of their work post that with what's left in the portal.
By the time the portal closes, because again, Mensah hasn't officially announced his commitment, they're going to take like 11 guys. So it's not like they just did a complete rebuild, but they certainly plugged the holes that need.
This isn't a 57-player rebuild like LSU.
No,
LSU's got 57 new football players coming into that roster this spring. So should be interesting out there. But I think this transitions us really, really well into like the floor for Miami next year has to be 11-1. I don't know if y'all have seen this schedule, but it is a joke. I shouldn't say a joke. It is just not. When I look at things like this, guys, I wonder if, we're playing the same sport sometimes. Like, let me just read you this schedule for Miami next year. And look, no shade to the Miami Hurricanes, but this just is not on par with what I'm going to read you right after that, which is Texas's schedule. Stanford, Florida A&M, Wake Forest, Central Michigan, Clemson, Florida State, Pittsburgh, North Carolina, Notre Dame, Duke, Virginia Tech, Boston College. All right, so Notre Dame, I know you got something for me there. Notre Dame are the only preseason top 25 football teams on that schedule.
Not a grinder of a schedule.
Not a grinder of a schedule. So that is a playoff team that played for the national championship. This is Texas's schedule next year. Ohio State, at Tennessee, Oklahoma, Florida, Ole Miss, Missouri, LSU, A&M.
Definitely.
We're not playing the same sport schedule-wise. We're not. Okay, so we got to do something about that, and I don't know how we do it.
Yeah, I mean, the conferences have really.
And by the way, I could do the same thing with Ohio State's schedule. You compare Ohio State's schedule to Miami's next year, and you tell me if we're playing the same sport, because I'll tell you we're not. We're not playing the same sport at some of these levels.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. Like some of these, again, and this isn't to besmirch any of the conferences, but you can look at some regular season schedules and recognize like these are not all made the same, which I think is what makes it so important for what you've done in January. And again, I've said this before, the college football playoff has made this entire season about what do you look like in January, because the reality of it was Miami didn't have that much more difficult of a schedule last year, and they went 10-2 with it. But they had such a good January that everyone looked at them and said, you know what, that is one of the best teams in college football. So it is what it is. Like the schedules, I agree that there's probably some aspects of it that aren't fair, but it's just the way that it's shaken.
And, I mean, to give Miami some grace in this, I mean, it's not their fault that Florida State continues to be where they're at. It's not Florida. It's not Miami's fault that Clemson continues to be on a downhill climb. We'll see what Virginia Tech looks like this year under James Franklin in year one. Duke would have been probably a formidable opponent coming into this year, but you just took their 2 best players on offense. So that's somewhat your fault. We'll give you some fault there. But like I get it, man. You're given the schedule that you're given. You play who you have to play. But you're certainly right in the sense of when you compare the schedules from teams in the SEC or teams in the Big Ten, and maybe even some other teams in the ACC, we're not playing the same regular season. We're not going through the same workload that other teams are having to go through to get to a playoff.
Should be noted, this is worth like 3 top 25 games on your schedule. They play 3 Friday night ACC games and 1 Thursday night game.
Those are scary. Those are very scary.
Give me some ACC, man.
So we didn't necessarily put some dogs in front of you, but we might make you fight on a Freaky Friday.
But again, I don't like comparing college football to the NFL because I think that they're two very different entities. But the formats that we have make it more and more like it every day. There's plenty of times where we have playoff teams that go, oh, man, they only had to play 4 teams that ended up being above 500 this year. Like, their schedule was a joke.
Yeah.
So, like, this happens all across sports.
Oh, we felt this way. I mean, people felt this way about A&M's schedule this year.
Right.
We just dodged the top of the conference.
Right.
They beat anybody in the top 6 and beat everybody in the bottom 10.
So I think that you're absolutely right. Like, there's a handful of conferences or a handful of schedules we can look at and go, oh, they've got a cakewalk. This isn't necessarily fair, but that is kind of how it goes across all sports where you have a select number of games. Like, this doesn't happen as much in the MLB and other teams.
I didn't feel this way when we actually had divisions and these conferences weren't oversaturated and overpopulated.
To some degree.
When we had now, the Big Ten West was a flat joke for 10 years.
But I mean, like, the main criticism against Georgia was, they had all that success because they played in the weak SEC East.
Yeah.
Like, there's always going to be attrition somewhere where not every schedule is going to be created equally across 132 college football teams. Some schedules are going to be really, really hard. Some are going to be much easier, and that's unfair, and I get it. That's why as long as you handle your business and win in January, like, it's the ultimate equalizer.
All right. So we have schedules released from the SEC. We did probably, a month ago?
Yeah.
And we just got them from the Big Ten today. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through schedule superlatives way too early for this, but we're going to do it anyways.
Before we do that, let's say a quick thank you to our friends over at Sleeper. Guys, it is the time and place to be on Sleeper. It is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app that is focused on bringing people together through sports and gaming. It has one of the fastest organically growing platforms in the world and over 6 million active users as of 2023. It earns some of the highest levels of engagement in the industry. It's not just about sports at Sleeper, it's about building personal connections. And if you head over there today and use promo code Brooks, you will get a $100 deposit match on your first deposit. That means if you put $100 in, you get $100 free, $50, $50, so on and so forth. See terms and conditions, and they are currently operational in over 25 states, including the state of Georgia. Thank you to Sleeper.
You love to hear it. You love to hear it. Shout out to Sleeper. Shout out to you guys who have supported those who support us this year throughout what it was a tremendous season here on the network. About to cross over 93,000 subs. Shout out to the Miami Hurricane fans that watched today. We went up almost 250 subs today alone because of that Darian Mensah film study. So we appreciate you guys. If it's your first time watching us here live tonight, we are live every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday during the off season, whatever the off season looks like for you guys. It looks like work around here for us. Speaking of work, schedules in the SEC released about a month ago. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to tell you what we think is the easiest schedule in the conference, the hardest schedule in the conference, the toughest stretch in the conference, and a potential trap game here in this conference, starting with the easiest schedule. Boys, I looked at it today. I got one of these fine little graphics over here from SEC.com of the entire schedule, all of the teams breaking down on it. I think South Carolina's got the easiest slate this year.
Okay.
In this conference. All right, you got Kent State, Towson, Mississippi State, all right, at Alabama, Kentucky, at Florida, got a bye week before Tennessee, at Oklahoma, Texas A&M, at Arkansas, Georgia, at Clemson. Now, there is no easy slate anymore because there's 9 conference games, so just not going to have them, but I think they got a relatively decent slate compared to some of the others.
Yeah, it's in my opinion, it's certainly a little bit more back heavy. I think their first 5 SEC games are very manageable, even for being South Carolina, but they do close out in pretty tough fashion. And Clemson, for as much as they haven't been playing very well, it's never an easy schedule or never an easy matchup for them. So I think that's a good candidate. I went with Kentucky, actually. Kentucky has a weird start to the season. They actually open SEC play in week 2, start off against Youngstown State, then they play Alabama at A&M, and then it's kind of smooth sailing from there. South Alabama at South Carolina will be tough for them. LSU is going to be tough. Excuse me, I'm looking at the hardest schedule right now.
Yeah, I was about to say, you put Kentucky on this list?
Let me switch up. Vanderbilt has the easiest schedule.
Okay,
in my
I was
opinion.
looking at this one too.
Vanderbilt is the easy. They open the first 4 weeks of the season with 3 cans and then an Auburn team that's not facing.
Disrespect to NC State.
Hey, you're talking about 16th best odds to win the national title, Auburn Tigers, right now.
Okay. Anyways.
Yeah. You heard me right.
What?
16th best odds to win the national title, Auburn Tigers.
How?
Let me make sure I've
because
read
of the
this
Auburn
correctly.
Tigers.
I saw this on Twitter today.
Anywho, they open with Austin Peay, Delaware, NC State, at Auburn, at Georgia versus Ole Miss. That's a tough stretch. But then Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi State in another 4-week period. They have a bye week in there. Alabama, Florida, Tennessee. I mean, yes, there's some tough games in there. There's at Georgia. There's Alabama. You got to travel to the Swamp. But other than that, like, very, very manageable for SEC standards.
I was correct. If you go on FanDuel right now and you look up national title odds for 2026, Auburn is sitting at plus 6,000, right behind Michigan at plus 4,000, right behind USC at plus 3,500.
That's a penny stock, cuz. That's what that is. It's one of them pink sheets that he's pushing in the start of Wolf of Wall Street. That's what Auburn Natty stock is. Now, talk to me in 3 years. I might buy some.
Vanderbilt, definitely one of the easier schedules. I went with Auburn, ultimately. I picked that team as the easiest schedule for me. Got Baylor in the opener. They just lost their quarterback, though, so we'll see what Baylor looks like this year. Or is he coming back?
Oh, no, Lagway's their starting quarterback this year.
DJ Lagway.
Yeah.
DJ Lagway making a return to SEC football in week 1 in Atlanta against the Auburn Tigers. And you got Southern Miss. You got first-year head coach Florida coming in at home. You got Vanderbilt at home. Then you go on the road to Tennessee. Then you got a bye week. So there's a 4-game stretch right here where it does get a little shaky. Like Tennessee, then you go at Georgia. They have historically been bad at Georgia. Then they have LSU at home. Then they go on the road to Ole Miss. But then it goes Arkansas, Mississippi State, Samford, and then Alabama.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I don't think there is a cakewalk here.
Oh, no, none of them are cakewalks. I struggle to find easy
There is no 2025 A&M schedule on this slate.
No.
Not
There's
right.
no Missouri.
Well,
Not right now.
not right now.
We don't know.
The 2025 A&M schedule was also very hard, but then it was like, oh, LSU, they suck.
But you're
actually.
right, like,
South Carolina, not.
we went into
They did kind of break LSU.
We went into the last.
LSU was ranked during that game, weren't they?
They were, but that LSU, the dam was burst at that point. They delivered the knockout.
It was
blow.
leaking. They bursted.
But like we went into the last 2 seasons being like Missouri, you got the easiest schedule in the conference right now. Texas, you got one of the easiest schedules in the conference right now. There's not one of those when you just go out there and look at it on paper. And that, I think partially that has to do with the fact that there are several new coaches in this league, so it's a little unpredictable to see what they're going to be like. Vanderbilt's a little unpredictable right now because you don't know what the carryover is going to be like. Like, yeah, they have Jared Curtis, but what else? What are all the other pieces going to look like for that team? Like, it's very unpredictable to kind of pick SEC schedules right now because also it's the month of January.
I think we know who has the hardest schedule. I have
there's
two.
several candidates.
I have 2 nominees.
Well, we know who my candidate is because I messed up earlier. But
I think it's Texas that has one of the hardest schedules in the country in 2026.
yeah, having Ohio State certainly adds.
And granted, they did it to themselves.
Yep.
Texas State, Ohio State, UTSA, at Tennessee, a bye week, Oklahoma, Florida, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, at Missouri, at LSU, Arkansas, and then they close with at A&M.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's-
It'll be a battle-tested team.
Not an easy schedule. Like, that very well could, like, that could be the schedule that gets Steve Sarkisian in very.
I was going to say that
very
could be the
hot
schedule
water.
that gets a 9-3 CFP admittance.
It could.
If
be.
there were ever a 9-3 admittance, it's that
It
one.
could
That
also.
depends on what 3 games you lose.
Correct.
It could
Correct.
also be the schedule that gets you a. You didn't make the playoffs again.
Yeah.
You're out
You
of
asked
here.
us to
bud.
spend what? And we did what?
The roster will do that to him, not the schedule.
Well, the results of the season.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the schedule's that hard that if you 8-4, that 9-3, you don't make the playoffs. Like, people are going to start saying, all right, we got to get Sark out of here. So
I nominated Mississippi State. These are consecutive games right here. Missouri at home, Alabama at home, at LSU, Oklahoma at home, at Texas. Those are all consecutive for Mississippi State. And then on top of that, you have to go to Ole Miss to close out the season.
Oof, that's a tough one. I'll rehash my Kentucky one because I got them mixed up. Youngstown State's easy. You play Alabama in week 2. That's a very
At Alabama?
No, it's at home. Luckily, hosting Alabama, the
Okay.
rare hosting Alabama.
I
Then
don't know. I don't know. You got to go to Kroger Field. Let that be a 7:30 kick in week 2. You better find out, Alabama.
We're about to have a 13-13 overtime score in that game. But then you travel to Texas A&M, get a break against South Alabama, and then you're right back on the road against South Carolina. Then you play LSU, at Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, at Tennessee, Florida, at Missouri, and then you close the year out with Louisville. Like, that stretch that they go on to close out the season is not easy at all.
Are we sure that the Kentucky's going to lose to you close thing wasn't a Mark Stoops thing?
You know what? This is a great point. We don't know anymore.
We sure about that?
Isn't Kroger Field just Kroger Field, though?
I don't know.
It's just, it's always going to –
Isn't Kroger Field without Stoopsy marching the sideline?
But it's more so about, to me, the trip that you take up there to Lexington. Also, it matters when you take this trip as well.
Yeah.
But Kroger Field is just consistently going to be one of these times where you're really not looking forward to playing in that stadium, probably not really looking forward to playing Kentucky, and before you know it, it's 20-13 in the fourth quarter.
I mean, it's had at least one victim every season.
And the conditions are just so unpredictable out there.
They got Texas last year, Georgia the year before that. Like, they always have those scary ones.
Arkansas, probably a bottom 3 roster in the SEC.
Yeah.
Listen to this slate. North Alabama at Utah, Georgia, Tulsa, at A&M, Tennessee, at Vandy, Mizzou, at Auburn, South Carolina, at Texas, LSU. Guys, they don't have a single – after the first month of the season, they don't play 2 back-to-back home games the rest of the year. They're home away, home away, home away, home away against dudes.
Oof. Yeah, it's tough. That Arkansas, I'm starting to feel bad for them, dude. Like, they're very quickly getting to Vanderbilt status where it's like, oh, just win a few games, guys. You can do it.
Just be fun.
Yeah, just be fun. Get a Diego
Be a
Pavia.
good story.
Get Diego Pavia out there and win a couple of games and upset some teams. Everyone will love you. So,
You think everyone's gonna love you season from Arkansas coming anytime soon?
Probably not.
I mean, if they do the unthinkable and start upsetting teams, yeah.
I mean, he did the unthinkable and landed like 5 in-state commits the first day he got there, did the Silverfield Cats. So maybe he'll turn it around. I don't know. It's felt like a football program that's been juiceless for about 3 years.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they can get something going on there. You got a toughest stretch nominee?
Yeah.
Because I got one.
I have one as well. Go
What's
ahead,
up?
Joe.
Alabama.
Yeah, I think we got the same
Alabama.
one. Is it the 5-game stretch in between the byes? Because they have an at Tennessee, A&M bye week, at LSU, at Vandy.
I did the stretch of Georgia, Tennessee, A&M, LSU.
Yeah, it's about as bad as it gets.
That's tough.
For a 4-game stretch, you get Georgia at home, but then you got to go to Neyland Stadium. Then you get A&M at home, and then you got to go to Death Valley.
Oof.
Not loving that one.
I went with LSU to close out the season. Listen to what they have. Travel on the road to Auburn. You get a bye week. That's nice. Alabama, Texas, at Tennessee, at Arkansas. Lot of tough games to close out the season.
Tough 3-game stretch.
And by the way, you're not going to be very well liked anytime you go there, simply because of what Lane Kiffin has done. So, and that's going to be,
Like, considering what LSU did, though, this offseason, like, you better not be sweating Auburn and Arkansas.
I was looking for you got to spend 3 out of 4 weeks on the road in the SEC, and I think only one team has to do it, and it's Texas. And it's at Missouri, at LSU, home against Arkansas. Take your butt on the road to Kyle Field. That's pretty tough. I mean, that's how they close that gauntlet that I laid out for you guys earlier.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Gosh.
Would have made you spend about $25 million in the portal. Is what it would have done.
That'd be so nerve-wracking, like, considering where we stand today as a Texas fan. Like, you get through the first 8 games of your schedule. You're
8-0, baby.
8-0. Ranked number 1 in the country, favorite to maybe win the national title, and you're just staring down potential death row of, like, we still could go 9-3 here. We still could miss the playoffs here.
oof, yeah,
Yep.
scary.
Tough stretch there to close the season. Any other thoughts on stretches? Anybody got a tough one?
That was the only one. I
don't know how you pick a trap game here, but I'm sure Kirby found one.
You had a nominee, but it was kind of one of those situations where it's like it's so hard to tell.
Yeah, like it was so early, so far out from the season. How do you know what's going to be a watch out? They might get you.
Yeah, here's my pick for it, though, just because. So Texas has to travel to Missouri. That's back-to-back road matchups before they go and face LSU. So that was kind of my, like, hey, don't look ahead to LSU. Yeah, we don't know what Missouri looks like. They very well could be a top 25, top 15 team, but Missouri's going to have a talented enough roster to beat anyone. I don't think that they're going to be one of these like must-defeat teams, must-see TV. So that's my pick for a trap game. But obviously, you guys are right. Like right now, it's so hard to tell.
Well, and like these trap games, like the type of things that you have to take into consideration when you're picking them or when you're kind of circling them on the schedule is like South Carolina was a team that you kind of nominated in this for this schedule, and it's like South Carolina very well could be one of these trap games for teams, but it also matters of like where is that team at in the month of October? Where are they at in the month of November? Because October and November is really where you start to pick out these trap games of late in the year. You've had a lot of success. What's a game that maybe could get you that you're not expecting? And so you kind of have to know, like, what's the overall, like, standing with this program at the moment coming into this game.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the origins of Cocktober is just like South Carolina upsetting teams and being trap games. So, yeah, you're right.
We're good on schedule talk?
I think we're good on the schedule.
Now, I don't know what they did, but apparently they might be fixing the targeting rule. So targeting was implemented in college football in 2008 to kind of eliminate some of these murder shots over the middle of the field. That rule was only exacerbated. There's an X in there. Exacerbated in 2013 when we implemented you gone for the rest of the football game. Yeah. And if you do this in the second half, you gone for the first half of the next one. And that, I feel like, has been the real crux of the issue since 2013. So we've gone 13 seasons of college football saying that's kind of a dumbass rule. We don't like that. We don't like that a player's got to miss almost 4 quarters of football because of a bad mistake. We also think there should be maybe a flagrant 1, flagrant 2 here. If you're absolutely trying to kill someone, maybe you do need to sit out for the rest of the football game. If it's a bang-bang play and how in the world are we supposed to get our head out, maybe you shouldn't be penalized at that rate. So what are they actually doing to this rule, and what did they actually suggest to change here?
So they haven't exactly changed anything at all. All that has been said by the referees is that they are going to look at the ruling this offseason, and they are going to dictate whether or not they think that there should be some changes. I can pull you some quotes that were said and get you some more specifications.
While you do that, I want to dictate 6 things I want dictatorly changed in the sport of college football. Okay, go ahead before I give you my 6 dictations.
So this was a quote from Steve Shaw, the national coordinator of officials. We're going to be having a discussion on targeting. That needs to be an annual discussion. It will be a focus on discussion. What targeting has driven in terms of player behavior change has been really good, and the numbers reflect that, said Shaw. But how can we continue this trend of taking out more of these hits we don't want in the game while being less punitive? Yeah, punitive. Punitive. So that's basically all that was said about that. He was asked, I can't remember, it may have been Ross Dellinger that actually asked him, but he was asked about, what do you think about flagrant 1, flagrant 2 type thing. I think that's kind of what the NFL does with theirs. It's not necessarily deemed flagrant 1 and flagrant 2, but it is, we're going to determine the egregiousness of the hit on the field. If we feel like it was way too egregious, that player will be ejected. If not, the penalty yardage still applies, and then that player will be fined.
There's ejections in the NFL?
If it's that bad, yeah.
If it's that bad,
yes. Has there been one?
There was one. I don't remember the specific player. But
when did they implement the ejection rule? Because I thought the Sunday League was just like, hey, you catch a dead body, you'll catch an envelope in the mail.
Most of the time, that's what it is.
Okay.
But based on what I read today, there is such a ruling that if they determine that it was that high of level of targeting, then you will be ejected.
Mm-hmm. Can I dictate now?
Yes, you can.
All right. 6 things I want changed in the world of college football. All right. In no particular order, but I do think the last one is the most important. I also think the last one is the most unrealistic, so that's why it's the last one. The first one, let's fix targeting. I'm with it. Like flagrant 1, flagrant 2, like let's clarify this a little bit. Like I said, we've been complaining about it for 13 years. So let's do something about it. And by the way, I am pro-targeting. Like I am someone who wants that rule implemented in the sport because I do think for the longevity of people's lives, we don't need to be out here headhunting all the time. So I think that's a good thing about the game of football. I think it's best for the longevity of football as well because we want our kids to be willing to play this football game. We want parents to be willing to allow their kids to play this game of football. Number 2, and I think everyone can agree with this. We need a set limit on commercial length, not the amount of commercials, but commercial length. The biggest detriment to a stadium is watching the red hat come out there with the digital scoreboard and that digital scoreboard read 3 minutes and 50 seconds. I don't like that. I think that's way too long. I think we need to limit that. Maybe under 3.
Can we
get
just
it under 3?
outlaw this? And I think most people would be happy. If we can outlaw the score touchdown commercial break, kickoff commercial break.
So there has to be a limit or a minimum amount of game time elapsed before we can mix commercials.
That's my.
I like that.
I don't get as bothered by we have a 3.5 minute commercial break as I do. We just watched 2 plays and now we're gonna have another commercial break.
That's what gets people. I think.
That's why I think the biggest issue is.
I'm with you there.
It's not as much the length of the break.
The fluidity of the game can't be interrupted too much.
So we'll change that one to. Let's adjust the amount of when you stack these commercial breaks.
I like that.
Number 3, can we actually enforce or regulate some type of tampering? I think the best thing the NFL and the NBA did was implement a legal tampering window. It's like, we know you motherfuckers are out here doing this, so we're going to allow you to do this during this time period, okay? Same thing in college football. Can we do something about this? Because this whole adage of the last 4 years of hoping that these people will govern themselves, they will not. They don't want governance. They want ludicrous. That's what they want. They want to do whatever they can to get good football players. Let's limit some of that. I think it'll be betterment for the longevity of the sport. Hey, how about this one? Natty on a Saturday.
Man.
Natty on a Saturday. Can I get a thank you?
I don't.
You don't hate it?
I hate it.
Yeah, you weren't traveling back on a 6 a.m. flight on a Tuesday morning.
I did have classes on Tuesday twice.
Now imagine doing that after traveling, because I was on a plane with an Indiana fan who was going to work that day.
Look, I get
on a
it.
Tuesday.
Hey, you know what would fix this no matter what?
Move the calendar.
Yeah, move the calendar.
Which was my next one.
I don't care what
move
day
the
you
calendar.
play it on.
Which is my next one. Move the calendar. Okay. Can we get this thing done before the portal window opens up? That would be most ideal. I think it's kind of jacked up. And it makes sense in the NFL where if you win a Super Bowl, you get to pick 32, and if you win runner-up, you're 31. And I understand that because we're trying to make parity in that sport. But in this sport, the 12 teams that make the playoff are absolutely screwed with regards to transfer portal additions and the window, because they're having people that don't want to compete for a national title leave their roster and quit on them in the middle of the year, and they can't go out and really do much because they're trying to focus on winning a national title. So that needs to get fixed for sure as well. And then I think the last one, which is a pipe dream, can we figure out how to regulate a cap? Just
that'd be
regulate
nice.
a cap. Just like, hey, whatever it is, if it's $35 million, if it's $45 million, if it's $25 million, whatever it is, get me a number and hold people accountable to that number. Because right now, we got about 5 or 6 teams that are just like, oh, there is no budget. Let's just go buy whatever we want. And I don't think that's good for the longevity of the sport.
No, it's not. And I mean, you are right. That is a pipe dream of not even setting a limit and being able to enforce it. Because like we've said, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of college athletes that have hundreds of deals that go in and out. And I mean, we lived in an era of college football where at one point the cap was supposed to be 0. Yeah. There was supposed to be, you are not having any payments to operate and get these players insured. And there still was not being any rules followed. So, like, this idea that a cap is ever going to be instilled and followed and enforced is never going to happen in college football because there are too many ways to do under-the-table stuff.
I guess, like, a silver lining for some of this is that it does seem like maybe some of these things are slowly being checked off. Like, now we only have one transfer portal window. I would assume that most people would say that that's a win for college football. We no longer have 2 windows where players can transfer in and out of schools. You don't have to worry about playing a spring game and getting tampered with and entering the transfer portal, things like that. Like, you have your roster set before, well, most of the time you have your roster set before football activities start, and so you have an idea of what your roster looks like. If targeting gets fixed this offseason, that would be another thing. Like, if we can kind of like in the next year we can get the calendar fixed, all those things. Like, if we can slowly get these things checked off, I think we'll be in a better position. But you got to start changing some things. We got to start fixing some things.
Feel free to push back on this. I don't think the on-field product of college football has ever been better. I think how we deliver that product has never been worse.
What do you mean when you say how we deliver that?
The nastiness of roster building.
Yeah.
The unfamiliarity fans have with their current rosters. I don't think that's good for football.
Oh.
I don't think that's good for the sport. The further distancing from traditionalists in this sport, I don't think that's good for for the longevity of those fans. I think we're buying more casuals every day.
You know, you make a really good point because I was talking to somebody the day of the Sugar Bowl.
The games have never been better.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. Like the players are like the games are great. The players are great. None of that has changed. But someone made a great point to me, and I think it kind of shows like this comes from like somebody that's just a football fan, not media or anything like that. But they were talking to me about how they really appreciated the content that you guys did at the Sugar Bowl, where you sat down, you interviewed the players, Nate Frazier, Brett Thorson, and he said that I want more of that because these players are getting paid for their name, image, and likeness, and I don't know anything about these players. I don't have any connection to these players. I don't know anything about Nate Frazier or Brett Thorson or any like this goes for any fan, I would say, of like these guys are being advertised and they're being paid for their likeness and how they play on the football field, but all people know them as is a football player on their team, and that's all they feel like they can know them as because it's so fluid. Like players are jumping in and out of rosters constantly and they're moving all over the place that there's not even time for fans to build connection with the athletes that they watch every single weekend.
We went to practice availability at the Sugar Bowl, and players are out there without their helmets. Who was with me? You were with me, right? And I can't tell you how many times a media member walked up to me and was like, hey, where's so-and-so? Because they have no idea what they look like without their jersey and their helmet. And those are people whose jobs and livelihood is to cover the football team extremely well, by the way. And they have no idea what these people look like. And those are people, those are guys that cover them on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I mean,
let alone the fan.
It is.
And this D tackle's making $500,000 off his name, his image, and his likeness, huh?
Yep.
And all I know is his name. I don't know his image. I don't know anything about his likability. We talked about this at the Sugar Bowl. I thought it was one of my, better takes I delivered on the year. It's just like, I can't tell you, there's 250,000 people that watched that video of Nate Frazier being funny and Nate Frazier having personality. And just everybody's like, man, I wish we got more of it. You're not getting more of it.
Now, I will say that this is a product of coaches having very buttoned up football programs and knowing like, hey, we can't have cameras in front of these 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kids' faces 24/7 because they will say some dumb things that we will almost undoubtedly.
No, there 100% has to be a level of trust there.
And also to the credit, like there are some things that are done. Like for as much as we talk about like how Nate Frazier, like no one knows anything about him. Nate Frazier has had like 4 or 5 like DGD Outdoors videos where he's gone hunting and he's fishing and he's doing all these like unique things and he's got his own YouTube channel. Like so there are avenues, and obviously every college football player has a podcast, it feels like now. So there are certain avenues, but you are right. Like they're not the celebrities or the personalities that they were built up to be in this NIL era. I agree that there is some irony in that, but they are trying. There is avenues for that.
And I think and again, like that applies to like a certain age demographic. Like there's only a certain age demographic that is going to sit there and watch Nate Frazier live on TikTok or watch Nate Frazier on a podcast on YouTube or do the DGD Outdoors, things like that. They are trying, and they're trying to put these athletes in front of you, but that's also a select few of them, and there's also a select few people that are actually going to sit down and watch that.
Yeah, I mean, and keep in mind, we are in the infancy of all this stuff. Like, you didn't really start seeing college football players in commercials and stuff till like 3 or 4 years ago. Like they have to find new ways to really get themselves out there and get the brand out there. But it's a culmination of a bunch of things. But you are right. It is certainly ironic that in the age of college football where players are more accessible than ever and their names, you can profit off of them, it does still feel like it's kind of hollow.
Who in Sam Hell did Vanderbilt think they were fooling? Listing Diego Pavia 6 foot tall.
Apparently everybody.
This was another flabbergasting realization yesterday on the timeline is that why are people surprised that college football players lie about their height and weights?
We talk about it all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
I get lambasted in the comments when I do my thing because y'all know how this works, right? You get handed a sheet when you show up. The day you show up, you get handed a sheet that says like legal name, how you want to be listed on the roster, your height, your weight. They hand it to you. You fill it out.
I mean, it's no different than going to the DMV and putting your height.
100%. My license to this day lies more than my roster did at Shorter University.
I think my license still says I'm 6'3" and like 170 pounds.
My license says I'm 6'2", 270.
You guys need to get new licenses.
My license says I'm 6'2", 270.
It's still valid.
In reality, I'm like 6 foot and 3/4, 240.
But yeah, no.
But I'll fight for 6'1". I'll fight every day for 6'1".
I think this was a very eye-opening thing for me as someone who's like, been entrenched in these numbers and metrics of height, weight, speed for the better part of 7 years now. People lie about this, and I don't think that like the casual fan base at home realize that, or like the.
Oh, I know they don't because we got lambasted by Indiana fans. I said I think Fernando Mendoza is like 6'3.5", 205, and they were like, he's 6'5", 225. I'm like, I know what the roster says.
Yes,
I've seen him in person 4 times now. I think I know what he is.
Yeah, and you know it's funny because while you can put it on your college profile however you want. Ultimately, the truth is going to come out. You're going to go to the Senior Bowl. You're going to measure and weigh in, and the 6-foot quarterback that you thought you had is actually 5'9" or 5'10" and only weighs 185 pounds. Like the truth is ultimately going to come out. So do whatever you want on your college profiles, but the eye test when you see these players in person and ultimately when they go to the NFL Combine or they go to the Senior Bowl, the truth is going to come out. There's no hiding it.
Now, also that said, no offense to Diego Pavia, I don't think he was going to be some like fantastic quarterback prospect, even if he was 6 feet.
No.
So, like, I don't know if this is – I mean, it didn't do any favors for his stock.
3 inches might matter a lot in some areas, but I don't think it mattered a whole lot in this scenario.
Well said, Jay Will. 3 inches is not bad.
I don't know if my eyes are watering because of the quality of the joke or if my eyes are watering because I'm about to sneeze for the 19th time today. Yeah, no, the roster weights or heights are just constantly lying. I don't think I've ever seen anyone undersell themselves though, other than an offensive lineman that doesn't want to be as heavy as he is.
Yeah.
The weights for sure.
Yeah, I think Jordan Davis was capping for a couple of years. Jordan Davis was listed at like 335. I was like, come on, man.
He looks it now.
Oh, now he's like 328.
Yeah, dude, he's lost a ton.
Yeah,
of
no,
weight.
he played at Georgia at like 365.
Oh, he was a mountain.
He was a huge man. So we good on the national?
I believe we are.
We got a lot of leftover topics. We'll hit them tomorrow or we'll hit them Thursday. See you on the other side of the break.
Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog? What's up? You like that? You really like that? Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back for another hour here on the Film Guy Network, and some say it is our best hour. It is our local hour. We finna talk that dog. We're going to rank the 2025 season. A little bit more of some wish you coulda, woulda tonight on the show. USA Today getting some smoke.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Okay, USA Today getting some smoke, so that'll be fun. We got some targets to watch tonight as well, and we might set some 2026 goals here on the network. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, but I want to start with this here smoke for USA Today. Kirby, what do we got, man? Why are we so perturbed?
Let's go ahead and do this. All right, look, I don't usually openly criticize people's work or their opinion on things. Very good job ducking under the camera there, especially when it's the off season, because obviously you are looking for content everywhere you can get. But this story in particular is very irresponsible in my opinion, and it's setting a narrative that I think is also irresponsible. Earlier this week, the USA Today released an article titled, "Kirby Smart Marches to His Own Beat. Is it still a Georgia victory tune?" ? And the article basically outlines how the transfer portal rosters are the future of the sport, and those who refuse to follow it will be left behind. The main reference for this is obviously Indiana, who took 23 transfers in the lead up to the 2025 season and won the national title in a perfect 16-0. Let me read you just a few paragraphs from this article. Ryan Day and Steve Sarkisian each compiled their biggest transfer class ever. Clearly, they're not treating Indiana's success as a fluke. And off in the corner, marching to his own drumbeat, stands Smart. The Georgia coach built his 2026 roster much as he's always done. He's lambasted culture where, as he puts it, many athletes want to go to college teams for a paycheck without its physicality. Never mind the Hoosiers, including their transfers, looked mighty physical this season, while showing defense superior to Georgia's. Led by Indiana, the Big Ten supplanted the SEC as the bully on the block, and never mind that Smart last won a college football playoff game in the 2022 season. Georgia allowed 39 points in a playoff loss to Mississippi, a team that was built from the portal. What's this I hear about physicality? Now, the gentleman who wrote this article's name is Blake Topmeyer, and I'm sure that Blake does excellent work, but he's completely missed the mark here. The problem is that Blake's belief is that the transfer portal is the future, seems to stem from the idea that all humans tend to fall victim to, and that seeing something work one time and believing that is the only path to success. It's a classic example of, oh, this team won this way, so this must be the future, and anyone who refuses to follow is going to get left behind. Blake references strong examples such as Indiana, Texas, Ole Miss, Ohio State as reasons for why this works, but he conveniently leaves out some key data points. For example, did you know that 6 teams that signed a top 10 portal class last season finished with 5 losses or more? 4 of those teams had losing records. Here's a quick list of teams that had 30 or more transfer players added to their roster ahead of the 2025 season. Ole Miss, North Carolina, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Colorado, USC, Virginia, Houston, West Virginia, Louisville, Oklahoma State, Cal, Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, Purdue, and UCF.
I don't mean to stop you, but like half of those are first-year football coaches as well.
Yes.
So that has a lot to do with it.
Right. I mean, Kurt Signason is what, second, third season?
Correct.
Second season. So it happens. Not a lot of success stories there, though. The idea that everyone should jump in the transfer portal sweepstakes because a few teams have had great seasons is such a nearsighted take, in my opinion. Frankly, it's irresponsible. That's not saying that the portal isn't a necessity, and with mass exoduses that you have each season, like you said, coaching overturn, you do need to use the portal to have success in college football. Now, on to the second narrative that I have issues with. This idea that Kirby Smart is getting left behind and left in the dust in college football because of his ways. Yes, Georgia has not won a playoff game in 3 years, but it's not like his rosters are as vaunted as the 2021 or 22 season. There's been some decline there, I get that. But let's not act like it's because of a major talent gap that happens on the field. No disrespect to Dabo Swinney and Clemson, but it's not like any time they get on the field against a top 10 roster, they're getting blown out of the water. All 3 of Georgia's most recent losses came at the hands of college football playoff teams, with 2 of them being combined less than 5 points. So it's not like they're just getting killed when you have these talented teams. So to finish my criticism of Blake's work, the transfer portal has not become the end-all be-all for success in college football. Sure, you can have success, but refusing to add 15 players to your roster every season is not a death sentence, and being on the losing end of a handful of close games is not the sport passing you by. So that was just a grievance I had to air out with this article.
I read it today. I had a problem within the first 100 words. Like when you're referencing Ohio State and Texas in counterpoints to how Georgia is building their roster. First of all, Ohio State, they did not go out and buy like 7 multi-million-dollar football players. They bought a bunch of football players that are on their second stop, right? It's like players like Dominic Kelly, who didn't play at Georgia, so now he gets added to that roster. It's like players like Quay Rousseau and James Smith, players that if you listen to Alabama, they would argue they let walk because Yonze Pierre beat out Quay Rousseau, and I don't know. They seem to dislike James Smith inside that building. I don't know what that is, but right, like this isn't what Texas did. So let's talk about Texas. Texas went out and spent, we added it up, $11 million on like 7 players. That's not how Georgia plays. Georgia's not going to be out here doing that. They don't spend money like that right now because they're trying to get into the College Sports Commission. They're trying to get under this rev share salary cap and do it by what they think is going to be regulated rules moving forward. While some of these schools are operating under the we're going to play free while we're allowed to play free, and then when rules actually get implemented, then we'll figure that out down the road. But right now, we're going to go wild while we can go wild. I respect the latter, by the way. I respect the people that are like, hey, if you're going to let us do it, we're going to go do it. We'll act like, saints when we need to act like saints, but right now, y'all letting us be boondocks, so we're going to be out here being boondocks.
Yeah, I think the issue I have that stems from it is not even acknowledging, like, yes, there are certain teams that are absolutely spending much more on the portal, and there are certain teams that are having success because of it. I think LSU is in season going to have a really, really good 2026. That does not mean that unless you're taking in 20-something transfer portal players, or you're only relying on the experience of players that have been in college football for 3 and 4 years. If you're not doing that, you're failing the system somehow, and you're getting left behind.
I do think there needs to be a tweaking of how they do this, though, because we know their transfer portal addition strategies, right? Their box list that has to be checked, right? We recruited him out of high school. He played against us in the conference, right? He's from the conference. They don't take a lot of, he balled at Memphis, he's from Buffalo, we'll take him.
Right.
Like, for example, Georgia, under their current way that they recruit and the current way that they look at portal additions, Georgia would never sign a Cassius Howell.
Probably
They
not.
would never sign that kid. He's 6'2", he's 240 pounds, he comes from Bowling Green. Nope, not going to be us.
They'd never sign a Stephen Daly either.
They would never sign a Stephen
He's
Daly.
from Kent State.
They would never sign it. For that matter, they would never sign an Aiden Fisher. So
Yeah.
there is something that does need to change here. I do, because the way that they go about it, guys, they're not going to sign all that many impactful football players under the box list that they have because they're too expensive, right?
That's fair.
Like, you're not going to go get an SEC starter, buddy, that costs $1 million. Like, what you're going to end up getting is guys like guys like Kula Barnes that come back. You're not getting a Coy Parrish. You're not going to go. You're not going to go do that. That's not the way you spend money out of the portal. So, I do think there needs to be some adjustment there. If you're not going to spend a bunch of money, maybe you do need to go get these guys that got overlooked, that are playing at mid-majors, that you have no previous ties to, that are still great football players.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely say, hey, there needs to be tweaks as to how the process that Georgia goes within their transfer portal, process of requiring that talent.
Yeah.
I will say, though, Zachariah Brants was not a cheap get.
No.
Noah Thomas was an SEC starter at his time. Josh McCray was a starting running back at Illinois. Like, they have gone out and gotten key players. Now, they're not getting the big-name, multi-million-dollar guys. You're absolutely right on that.
The other thing you just pointed out was their hit rate ain't all that high
No.
in the transfer portal. So if they did do it like everybody else, they'd be in trouble.
Well, and I would also
They would be in trouble if they signed 17 portal kids a year, because at this rate, only about 5 of them are going to be really, really good.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And I would also like to point out that we're 2 years removed from a team winning a national title in the same way that Georgia is attempting to win a national title. Ohio State took 8 players out of the transfer portal in 2024. They had a couple of like Julian Sayin is one of those commits who impacted this year's team. Will Howard, that was a major impactful player. Caleb Downs, a major impactful player. Seth McLaughlin, a major impactful player. 3 out of 8 players went on to that roster, a national title-winning roster, and were very impactful. The rest of it was homegrown talent that they retained from previous recruiting classes that they developed, that they got to come back and compete for a national title that year. So you're exactly right in the sense of we watched something happen for 1 year, and now people want to act like this is the blueprint, this is the Bible, this is how you have to do it in this sport now. 2 years ago, it's exactly different. It's a totally different story.
I'm so glad you pointed out, because you are right. We were sitting here a year ago and people were going, well, I guess you're just at a point now where you just got to go out and buy every 5-star you can get, because that's the only way you're going to win national titles, because you just have to have a more talented roster. And now it's, well, Kurt Signet did this with 2- and 3-star players because they were from the transfer portal. Looks like we need to do it this way. Like,
I meant to add Quinshawn Judkins, by the way, as well. He was in it. So 4 out of 8.
yeah, but no, you're absolutely right. Like the idea that we see success 1 year and think this is immediately how it's going to be. You would understand this reference. If you watch someone catch a fish in one area and you go, I have to go immediately cast my line in that, you're not always going to catch. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you get lucky. But just following other people is not how you're going to get success. Same with the slot machine. You see someone win, you immediately get up next to them and go, oh, I have to hit on this machine because they just won on this. Like, it's not as simple as it sounds.
The trick on fishing, actually, is to go into the same spot after someone just missed and throw something different.
Well, yes. But
That's the trick.
that kind of is a more nuanced thing for my analogy here, but you guys got the point of what I'm saying. Like, don't just follow someone because you saw something work before.
Yeah, don't just do it because Mel Tucker did it at Michigan State. You know?
I mean, I remember.
Definitely wouldn't repeat what Mel Tucker
Do
did
not
at Michigan
repeat what
State.
Mel Tucker did at Michigan State.
Would not recommend.
Would not recommend that at
Man.
all. Very bad. Kirby says no. But no, like even like 8 years ago when Dabo Swinney was going on his run, and it was like Dabo Swinney has supplanted Nick Saban as the best coach in college football. You have to do what he's doing now. Like, you don't need transfer portal players. You need culture fits. That's how you win national championships.
Yeah, like the narrative then was you have to get a 5-star quarterback. You have to recruit great at the quarterback position, or you're never winning a national title.
Or, 4 first-round defensive linemen.
Or that.
That might help.
It would.
It
Yeah.
certainly helps.
Cleveland Farrell probably didn't deserve it, but hey, he was.
And this isn't me predicting that this will happen, but I would love to see what the narrative becomes if Georgia does win a national title this next year. Like, what is the narrative going to become then of like, oh, the new trend is be thrifty. Don't go spending in the portal.
Yeah.
You better retain the talent that you recruit.
Like mark this today, January 27th. Whoever wins the national title for the 2026 season,
They'll be the meta.
not even that. There's going to be a handful of talking heads coming through and saying, well, this team's obviously figured out something that we need to figure out because obviously the way that they did X, Y, or Z, they did with Indiana. Like Indiana somehow figured out how to get all this output out of their portal players.
I think it also just does a disservice to the coaching job that Indiana did this
Yeah.
year. Like, I feel like it completely diminishes what Kirk Cincinnati and that staff did. Like, you did the right and, like, making sure to shout out the strength and conditioning staff.
Dude.
Like, that team did a tremendous job there. I think it completely diminishes, like, core values of college football. I think we're completely mislooking that. Instead, we're just simply putting it as, we'll go in the transfer portal. That's how you have to win national titles. Like, it takes a whole lot more than
guys, the players that they're taking out of the portal as well. They have 17 incoming transfers, and they're grabbing them from everywhere. They're scouting every portion of college football: Michigan State, Kansas State, TCU, Wisconsin, Penn State, Notre Dame, Boston College. All right, Miami. They took a kid from Tulane. Like they're taking kids from all over the sport of college football. Cincinnati, a couple of kids from San Jose State. Like they're going out here and grinding it out. And by the way, Indiana not in the mix for like these multi-million-dollar transfer portal prospects.
No.
Never. Like they were in the mix early, knew they were going to get Josh Hoover, shut it down. Right? Like the wide receivers that they're grabbing, they weren't in the Cam Coleman sweepstakes.
Nope.
They're not out here in the big offensive tackle sweepstakes. They aren't out here in the edge rushing sweepstakes. They are obviously identifying something in the scouting and developing department that they have an answer to. That, again, I think it's so disingenuous to what they're doing. I think it's the most disingenuous take in the world for people to get in front of microphones and be like, oh, Indiana did it. That means everybody can do it. Oh, everybody can just have the greatest coaching turnaround in the history of college football like that and do it with, by the way, not all that many Jimmys and Joes. I think the more replicable thing is if you want to tell me anybody can do what Texas Tech is doing. Anybody can go out here and put together a $50 million roster. I'm in agreement with you. They can do that. But not everybody can win. Not everybody can win at the rate that Indiana did. And I think you're right. It's a total disingenuous thing to say about it and not admit to the coaching. The coaching was superb.
One thing I am seeing more of, though, is I'm seeing more and more of Indiana, one of the leaders for the top recruit in 2027. Long lists of strong candidates and prospects in the 2027 class visiting Indiana. Oh, recruiting. Recruiting at the high school level now.
How did that happen?
It's almost like you should build it quickly off the portal and then build the sustainability through the high school metrics.
Yeah.
Huh. It's crazy. It's a crazy idea.
Who would have thought?
Where
How'd
were
you
we
hope
even
to
at?
stumble into that, Christian?
Where were we even at? We were crapping on the USA Today?
Yeah, I just finished criticizing my friend Blake's article.
My friend Blake.
My good friend Blake.
I'm sure Blake's probably watching the show.
I don't know. Maybe I'll get a
I want to
nasty
do this
DM on Twitter.
2026 goals discussion.
Let's do it.
That's what I want to do. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through a list of football players, and we want to talk about their goals. Now, I don't know how you guys did this. I did this from a Gunnar Stockton, here is my goal for you. It has nothing to do with I want you to throw for this many yards or limit this many interceptions or yada, yada, yada. My number one goal for Gunnar Stockton is zero explosive turndowns on tape. If there is yardage to be had, son, I need to see it ripped. All right? I don't need to see it completed. I need to see it ripped.
Yeah, I did mine in a way of like something I can come back to and fiscally look whether or not you achieve that goal or not. Like turn downs are like, yes, there are film that you can watch on, but it is still somewhat of a subjective thing that you can't really, it's ambiguous because we don't know the play it's called. We don't know what the progressions are. We don't know what the reads are. So we don't know if everything's going to be a turn down or not. So I did a purely statistical one. The first one I have is Nate Frazier, 1,100 all-purpose yards. I don't think 1,000 yards is the must-have for a successful Georgia running back, especially with how much they rotate bodies. I mean, Kirby Smart has basically relied on a three-headed monster since he's been in Athens. Now, sometimes that it's been a two-headed monster with the third guy getting carries as well. Nate Frazier got the majority of Georgia's carries last season and had 900 yards.
Have we had a back at Georgia have 300-plus yards receiving since James Cook?
I don't think so. McIntosh might have came close.
Kenny McIntosh did that.
Okay.
Kenny McIntosh had like
Cook had like over 400 if I remember correctly.
Yeah, James Cook was like a receiving back. But I think Kenny McIntosh cleared it.
My goal for Gunnar Stockton is I want him to trust the pocket more this year.
Okay.
I thought that we got in some moments throughout this season where we're kind of bailing a little too early in some pockets, and I think it kind of played into what you're talking about, Brooks, where we weren't taking our deep shots because, maybe things were closing in a little bit on us, and we just kind of bailed out of a pocket to the right. I think that there were some moments where I felt like he could have stood in the pocket a little bit longer, and especially because, you got dudes up front. You got dudes returning this year. You're going to be protected, and you have the athleticism to escape out of a pocket and make plays. But I think maybe we relied on our athleticism a little bit too much in certain situations, whereas we could have probably stood in the pocket and delivered a strike down the field.
Now, going off of the gunner one that I will add, this is not a statistical one, but it is, you mentioned protection. As much as I love seeing it, as much as it fires me up,
Don't die.
you gotta stop.
Please.
You gotta stop taking those hits, man.
Yeah.
Seeing you look like you get shot by a 50 cal after you complete a pass it touches something primal in my brain. But at the same point, you can't be taking those hits, Gunner.
This is a take out of love.
Kenny had 500 yards receiving in 2022.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I would believe it.
Damn near more than the rushing yardage total. Sheesh. That's a lot of yards. I want to stop watching him get destroyed.
Yeah.
And most of those, apart from the Tennessee game, were outside of the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where we probably – but you know what? The Colby Young play doesn't happen unless he dies.
No.
So some of them just have to happen.
You're
just going to die
when
today.
when we get to the postseason,
To hell with my body.
brother, let it rip. When we are in a college football playoff game, do what you were doing. Get crucified for a Cash Jones completion. Stuff like that I'm fine with. When we're playing Auburn in the middle of the season, let's not take those types of shots maybe.
You mentioned Nate Frazier. My goal for him next year is two-pronged. No fumbles while also maximizing carries.
Yeah.
I felt like early on this year we were dirty yards Nate, and that's what we were going to be.
Yeah.
We're just dirty yarding it all up and down because that's what Coach told us all offseason. So, by God, we're going to do that. And there was yards left on tape. I felt like as the season progressed, we left fewer and fewer yards on tape. Now, I want to see 12-yard gains get turned into 45-yard gains. I want to see 4-yard gains get turned into 14-yard gains. I want you to maximize carries. I think he has an opportunity to be a special back. I want to see it.
I think he is a special back. I think he has an opportunity to be an absolutely elite, Georgia great back. Nate Frazier has the talent and the potential that we are 10 years from now talking about, God, you remember what he did in 2026? Remember, his career at Georgia? He 1,000% could be that.
Playing into that Nate Frazier goal, he certainly plays into this one, but this is just an offensive goal in general. And I don't think that this is too big of an ask considering what the identity of this team is or what it was this past year and what I would assume that they're going to kind of continue to lean into this next year. I think Georgia needs to be top 5 in red zone efficiency, and it needs to be touchdown percentage. More getting points in general. That's always the goal when you get down in the red zone. But those suckers need to be turned into touchdowns. I don't remember what they were this past year. I can look it up here in a second. But with the running backs that you have, having a mobile quarterback, and considering what your offensive identity is in the sense of we're going to matriculate our way down the field, and we're going to be dominate time of possession. When you get down in that area of the field, those teams need to pay, and those drives need to end in touchdowns. And that starts with having a great rushing attack. And I think that Georgia is going to have that yet again this year. You should be top 5 in that category this year.
1,000% agree. And this could just be the way I'm remembering the season. I felt like they got better in the red zone as the season went. I remember early in the year, obviously that Austin Peay disaster to close out the first half. Alabama, they couldn't punch it in the fourth quarter of that. Certain drives there. They did have a fumble against Mississippi State, but I remember for the most part, towards the back half of that season, they were really successful in being able to score red zone touchdowns.
Dylan Bell randomly stretching the ball out when you're 4 yards short of the sticks. It's come on.
Yeah,
Come
that Mississippi State
Don't
fumble
do that.
was tough. But other than that, I don't think that they were a bad red zone. But you're absolutely right. You can never be too efficient in the red zone.
Bring
Georgia-
both the coordinators in, Mike and Glenn.
Okay.
Just bring them on in. Here's your goal for next year. No confusing starts. Both of you. I think both of you at times this year, it's what's going on, man? Why can't we figure this out? I mean, y'all have gotten to a point defensively when it comes to starts where your head coach jokingly talks about just starting the game down 7-0. What's up with that? The goal next year should be to fix that.
Mm-hmm.
The goal should be we ran the ball and stopped the run in 2025. In 2026, we're going to have first quarter leads.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And you're absolutely right. Like, it feels like for the last 2 seasons,
I'd say 24 months. Yep.
yeah, whoever has played Georgia on the defensive side of the football has had the perfect script offensively to, at the very least, sustain a very good drive or march down the field and score a touchdown. Like, we saw Auburn do that. We saw Alabama. Like, the amount of teams that just like, yeah, we're just going to have 10-play touchdown drives to open the game. And then the defense will say, like, you can't have that.
The eye-opener for me was Vandy, like 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a
3
bad
years
Vandy
ago.
team. It was like, what? They're just walking the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And it's felt like that since.
That was a London Humphreys touchdown, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Power 4 teams get opening score possessions against you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's become a running joke in our Discord of, all right, we got the first touchdown out of the way. We can play ball now.
Yeah.
Play ball, yeah.
You got to fix that.
Yeah, I agree. Better starts.
And it's not just been like, these articulate drives of 10 players or more. Like, there's explosives too. Obviously, 2023 Tennessee is the prime example of that, where we have a touchdown in the first play. Like,
This past year.
Yeah, it's this past year. First 2 drives, they're cooking you.
mm-hmm. So, I mean, like, just examples of, like, let's not give up touchdowns on the first. Good goal to have.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, and also going into what you were talking about with Gunnar Stockton, Georgia this past year, I believe, ranked in the 60s in this category. They could be much better at that. And I think that this is one of Gunnar's strong suits, but I think that, again, going back to the running back room, I think they're capable of playing into this as well. The offense should be top 20 and 20-plus yard plays.
Yeah.
Rushing-wise, I think you should be gashing teams at time. I think Nate Frazier, more than capable of picking up 20-plus yard plays. Chauncey Bowens on top of that. I just need, and I think Gunnar throws a great deep ball. Like, that was one of the biggest things we talked about heading into this past season was he was dialed in the Notre Dame game when it came down to throwing strikes downfield. Like, whether they were being caught or not, that's a different story. But this year, I felt like that they could have been better at it. I think he had the personnel to do so. I think they need to be more explosive in that area.
I like that one. I want to stick with defense on this one because it's a statistic that I touched on a few weeks ago. I think it was right when the offseason started. This defense has got to force more turnovers this year, whether that be fumbles, strip sacks, interceptions because you're pressuring the quarterbacks. Like, they did not do enough this year. I think they averaged less than a turnover a game.
And to me, it wasn't even like – I didn't even feel like you were in spots to make plays.
Not very often.
The only dropped interception I can remember is KJ's against Bama.
KJ had 2 dropped interceptions. Both were against Alabama. One was in the SEC championship. But even then, it feels like, and it felt like more so than ever, jumping routes, reading balls, and look, playing the ball in the air as a cornerback and as a safety down the field is never going to be the bag of Kirby Smart. They don't teach players to look back for the football.
Yeah.
When the plays are in front of them, however, you didn't get that. And
Which almost all of them were because of the defensive style that they played this year.
And
everything was keeping front.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did they have a tipped pass that ended up in an interception? Like a ball got tipped at the line?
Yes.
Yeah,
in
the
the SEC
Dalen
championship
Everett
game.
The Dalen Everett pick was tipped by KJ.
Yes, okay.
And it was a tremendous disguise, too.
But a tipped at the line where a linebacker or someone in the flats is able to come up and get. Like, I feel like that was you could get 2 or 3 of those a season at Georgia.
Yeah, and I know that this is one partially due to how they're coached, but also like, and I remember this past season, I thought that there was a point in time where I thought maybe the tide was kind of changing in this area when it came to turnovers forced. Like, I felt like Georgia should be better at forcing fumbles, in my opinion. I feel like they should be better at that. I remember C.J. Allen forcing one against Kentucky, I believe it was, or maybe it was against Austin Peay. I was like, okay, these guys are punching the ball. They forced one against Auburn. And it feels like Alabama did a phenomenal job at this. Now, Alabama also gave us some explosives on defense, which it plays into this a little bit, but I don't know.
No strip sacks this year either. Was there?
No, I think the closest one they had was
Kristen Miller, Tennessee.
Gabe Harris coming off the edge on Blake Shapen.
Yeah, against Mississippi State.
But that was it ruled an incomplete pass, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, there's a lot there in the havoc department that needs to be had.
Ernest, and before we get, I do kind of like, is this because they have gotten so analytical? Like, I know that Kirby Smart harps and harps and harps on limiting explosives. Explosives are how you lose the game. That's the metrics that you lose. When you try to keep everything in front of you, when you try to say, all right, we're not going to let any explosives happen, does that tend to lead to, these offenses march the balls down the field? We're not forcing as many turnovers?
I have no idea. I know that every defensive-minded football coach I've ever talked to prioritizes turnovers and getting the ball back. I mean, the McGuire guy out there at Texas Tech speaks of a stat. It says you win 95% of the games you play in which you have 3 turnovers forced.
Wow.
So the turnover margin is 3. And it said in order to get to a 3+ turnover margin, we have to force 3 turnovers.
Exactly.
And that's what they prioritize. And if you watch them play defense, they get after the rock.
Yeah, they do.
They get after the rock. I have a goal for Ernest Green, and I don't know at this point in time in his career, this has not been attainable. So I think this should be his sole goal in 2026 and 2027. If there is a Georgia football game to be played, number 71 needs to start it. Ooh. He needs to be ready and healthy enough to play in that football game. Does he need to play every snap? Nope. But he needs to make sure 71 is a playable option today. Ain't no break glass in case of emergencies. 71's got to be clean and healthy to play the entire season. I think that should be his only primary goal.
I love that one. I want to add on to this because it's also offensive line. Daniel Calhoun needs to start at least 10 games this year.
Dude, if Daniel Calhoun is not what they think he should have been out of high school, the guard position's in trouble.
Yeah.
I think.
Now, here's an interesting point to make. Like, let's just make an assumption here. Let's assume that Ekene Ogboko is what he is advertised. Like, this guy's finished as a 5-star prospect, top 50 player in the country by some outlets. Like, what if that guy is one of your Donnie Glovers or Juan Gassons, and it's like, this guy has to play? Well, that might free up the ability to say, all right, Ernest is one of our starting tackles. We'll put Ogboko at one of our starting tackles, and we got Juan and Donnie at guard spots. Daniel Calhoun then becomes your next man up.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe it doesn't have to be starts, but you're right. Daniel Calhoun has to be a player this year that you are like, he has to play. Calhoun has to be out there.
In the time that I've covered this football team, there have been 3 true freshman offensive linemen ready to play.
Yeah.
3 in 7 years. And their names are Andrew Thomas, Juan Gaston, and Donnie Glover.
And again, that's why I said let's make an assumption.
Tate wasn't one, right? He was a red shirt.
Yeah, Tate was a redshirt freshman when he played against Clemson. And
right.
Popped his foot.
And again, that was me making an assumption, but I'm just saying, like, we talk about all the time. I don't know if I want to categorize like dead weight on a roster type of deal. No. Ekene Ogboko is one of these players that is going to play this year, I'd assume. Like, you need him to play this year. So that was just me throwing that wrinkle into the mix.
Yeah, I put 10 starts for Daniel Calhoun because if he is starting, if he does start 10 games for you, that means that he is that good of a player. That means that he is everything that they hoped that he was. And that answers a lot of questions and relieves a lot of headaches on your offensive line. So that's kind of why I put the goal for him specifically because of that.
Well, speaking of havoc plays earlier, this might be a bit lofty, but I just feel like I have to throw it in here. And I don't care who it is. I don't care which player it is. It could be anybody from this position group. Give me a 7-sack season. One of you players. 7 sacks.
I'll play into that.
I had Zayden Walker for 5.
I have Gabe and Quintavious Johnson. They have to combine for 10.
Yeah. I like that. That's fair. 5 sacks apiece, that's very attainable for both of those guys. Now, I know that they're not like Quintavious is not a traditional, like, I'm going to rush the passer type guy, peel my ears back, but 5 sacks is very attainable for them.
So I sent 2 text messages to 2 really high-up sources with the question, is Ekene Ogboko going to be ready to play this year? The first response, ask me after spring. The second response, he's eligible to. So needless to say, in the first 15 bowl practices, we do not have a definitive answer.
Was he there for bowl practice?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
A classic, like, hey, we'll see.
Well, here's the good thing, is you certainly probably will get an answer after spring practice because, for starters, Ernest Green, I would imagine, probably not going to be getting a whole lot of reps this offseason.
No. Probably going to come up with a labrum surgery or something like that. Where
Ernest Green limited going into spring practice this year. Here you go, Ogboko. Go earn
Spasms of the back.
Yeah, just something like that.
Well, what do you mean? I don't know about that. That's
I said I hope it's not.
Oh, I hope not too, but that's what kept him out for like 3 weeks this year.
I hope it's like, hey, we had a little orthoscopic maintenance surgery on our foot.
I did get 2 freshmen that will play this year.
Oh,
who we got?
Is that a Patreon, Doug?
Yeah, maybe. Patreon.com/Brooks Austin. You will get the 2 freshmen that have already been deemed they're playing this year.
Smart.
So,
I want to go back to the receiver room because I feel like there's a lot of goals that need to be set for these guys. Give me Landon Roldan and Talon Taylor having 5 30-yard receptions each. They don't have to be touchdowns. They don't have to be, bombs, but it needs to be over 30 yards. I think these guys are going to be your deep threats in the 2026 season. And you look back with the loss of Colby Young, and I know Zachariah Branch is a speedster, but it didn't really feel like Georgia had a receiver where you could throw the ball to them downfield in a pinch. And I know that everyone, kind of talks about Arian Smith and rolls their eyes because of the drops, but having him on your offense in 2024 did so much for your passing game because you did have someone that could stretch it vertically. Those two guys need to be that this year.
I'll stick in the wide receiver room. London Humphrey's goal should be the quietest 600 yards you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, I don't even
Just like everybody forgets about him, but damn, London basically averaged 50 yards a game.
Yeah, my hope for London this
Need it
year
bad.
is that I don't have to come into the studio every Monday and just be like, man, 16 blocked his ass off on Saturday.
Yeah,
That's
we
great.
We actually got him a rock.
That's great, and I hope London continues to do that, and I know that's how you earn your stripes in this program, but I would love it to be, hey, London Humphreys blocked his ass off, and he also finished with 60 yards on Saturday.
Yeah. I think 450 yards is a much more like, hey, this is what we need out of you on the Humphreys type. In fairness, and again, it's kind of the running joke here. What was Kearis' totals in 2022? He was like a 500
Oh,
yard
yeah, it was
guy.
500, something like
450. Something
But the
like
way I think about Kearis Jackson is every big moment you needed him to deliver, he did. That incredible catch on the seam in the Peach Bowl, like you don't win the game without that. The play in Florida against 2021, and already London Humphreys is already on track for that. The game and the catch against Texas to switch momentum, obviously 4th and 6 against Tennessee. Like keep being that guy and just reach another gear. I don't think London Humphreys needs 600 yards for it to be a successful season.
And he's kind of been a bit of a safety blanket in that wide receiver room. Like, I mean, the 4th and 6 play is an example of this. I mean, there were multiple plays I can remember this year where London Humphreys was making crucial plays in critical moments in football games. So he's already shown signs of that, but I would just more than anything, like the way that he has carried himself over the last few years in this wide receiver room and his time at Georgia, I think it's time for him to earn a bigger role in this offense.
I agree with that. He definitely deserves it.
defensive side of the football, I need Raylan Wilson to play the same every Saturday.
Yeah, consistency.
I need Raylan Wilson to lead the team in tackles.
No.
I mean, I think that's asking too much, and maybe Chris Cole's responsibility.
That's my goal.
But
Okay, that's
I need the same. I need to look at the film and see the same 5 every single game. I feel like last year there were moments where we get great 5, and then there's moments where 5 disappears for long stretches of the football game and just doesn't really make an impact. Can't have that happen next year. Next year we got to have 14 really, really good ones. 15, 16 really, really, really good ones. No down games.
And I don't say that,
I
Christian.
don't even think there was ever a down game. I just think there were games where we weren't playing up to our capabilities.
Right, and I don't say that, Christian, to say that it would be a bad thing, obviously, if Raylan Wilson led the team in tackles. But I want it to be Chris Cole because that guy should be the best player on the field. That guy should be one of the most impactful players on the football field every single time. Like, that's the type of season that you should want out of Chris Cole this year. Like, I don't know. That's just the way I envision it because, like, the things that we hear about Chris Cole from people, like, I feel like it's time to start seeing that. And I know that we were dealing with a lot of things this season and maybe drinking out of a fire hose.
That was my goal for him in 2026 is to be dominant at one thing and be great at everything else they're asking you to do. And I know that's really hard to ask you to do, but I need him to be either a dominant rusher or a dominant off-ball linebacker or a dominant cover guy. He needs to be dominant in one way or the other and then just really great at everything else they ask him to do, which is everything. They're going to ask him to do everything in 2026. I felt like this year they asked him to do all those things, and we just weren't quite comfortable in playing free when we were out there. This year, I think we unlock ourselves, and we're the best player on the field.
I think another solid goal for Chris Cole would be no misses at the point of attack.
Yeah.
You left 3 sacks on tape last year. Like, just give me sacks. Just wrap the guy up and you have a sack. Can't have that this year.
And
Absolutely.
You want to talk about a guy that can definitely force a strip sack. That guy is one that can certainly
Yes, he
do
can.
it with the length that he has and the reach that he has with his arms.
Agreed.
A very peculiar goal right here for Elijah Griffin. Any guesses on what it is?
Very peculiar goal for Elijah.
Don't lose a single double team.
No.
That's a good goal. What is it?
1 personal foul.
Huh.
I want one moment next year where it's like, hey, man, y'all better get Elijah under control or he might lose it today. I want to know that he can lose it. Do you know what I mean? I want to know that he is a little bit crazy, that there is a little bit of unhingedness to him. I want to find that out next year. Now, I don't want it to be in a critical moment.
Right.
I would say
I don't want it to be in a critical moment, but I want a damn 90 got us a 15-yard penalty because he wasn't taking no shit off that offensive lineman that thought he was going to get the last push. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's what I want to see.
That one, I like that one. I think that would have to be the penalty. Like when I hear 15-yard penalty off of like unnecessary roughness, my mind immediately goes to Ellis Robinson against Alabama.
No.
Where it's like, oh, you just jumped on the
No,
pile
I'm not taking that shit personal foul. That's what I want.
Here's the ideal situation for this to happen, Elijah. All right, if you're listening, you can plan it out this way, okay? If it happens this way. Off of a turnover, after the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct on number 90.
Yeah.
Like, turnover happens, offensive lineman gives you a little shove while you're trying to celebrate with your teams. You retaliate. That's like it was a game-clinching turnover. Field position at this point does not matter.
Know what?
We'll take the 15 yards.
I don't even need the 15-yard penalty. Just give me a video of you pregame talking shit to some Missouri defensive line.
All right. Very niche.
Bring that on, big dog.
Do you guys remember what Todd Gurley would do when he would get tackled on sidelines and things? Just sticking his face in a defender and talking shit.
Yeah.
If we see that from Elijah Griffin, I am all for it. For those who don't remember, go watch the 2013 Georgia-Florida game. Bro is talking the most shit you've ever seen. That was his first game returning back from the ankle injury as well, so very fun memories of that one.
I have one final goal for the defense, and this actually wraps up my goals. And this is one that we've already kind of really discussed on this show multiple times, but KJ Bolden has to be the most impactful player, bar none. That number 4 needs to be the most impactful player. The most impactful player.
You're going period, huh?
When this is and this like I think part of goals and setting goals, they should be a little lofty. You should be asking maybe a little bit too much at times, and I think it's fair to say ask this lofty goal out of KJ Bolden of like when the season is over, that guy should be borderline MVP of the team or like that guy's defensive player of the year, arguably.
I like that goal. I'm always hesitant to say that the safety, the last line of defense in your defense, needs to be the most impactful player. I get where you're coming from, though.
And like it could be one of these things where it's like you don't check the box score, and KJ Bolden has the most tackles on the team or the most tackles for loss, or like it doesn't even necessarily have to show up in the box score. But like I would kind of maybe attribute this to like similar to like Caleb Downs of like. Maybe that guy didn't light up the box score every single time, but like that guy was the most impactful player on defense for Ohio State, I would say.
I love Joshua Armstrong trying to guess the two freshmen, both in the Discord chat and now in the YouTube chat.
Hell yeah.
I love that for you, Joshua. I wrote it as just be what we expected you to be.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I don't need you to be first team All-American, dude. Like that would be nice, but you came to the University of Georgia as I thought you were going to be 90% of Malachi Starks. Is that on me for putting that on you? Maybe that's me hoping for the rightness of my evaluation of you. But I think that's what they thought you were too, and I think that's what you think you are and more. I think you think you're one of the best football players that has come out of the state of Georgia in recent memory, and I think you have an opportunity to do exactly that this year. I'm waiting for that unlock play. Right, we talked about that this year from him. I thought the Alabama interception would have been it. I think his season looks totally different if he catches that football, because it would unlock a level of confidence for him that I think is totally different. I also think we have an opportunity for a year 3 pop for him from a standpoint of year 1, we got to play free because Malachi and Dan were right next to us. Year 2, the whole weight of the world feels like it's on our shoulders.
Right.
Year 3, we're comfortable with the weight on our shoulders, and now we can play free again.
And in fairness, like we talk about the linebacker room always having these pops. Georgia's safeties have also had. Lewis Cine was a year 3 pop. Chris Smith was a year 3 pop. Dan Jackson was a year 3 pop. Like there's been a lot of guys that play their best football the third and sometimes fourth seasons that they're on the roster.
Is enough time passed for me to say this, that I think Lewis Cine's one of the more overrated football players in Georgia lore? like in the last 9 years.
I think
that's like one of the ones that I never got.
I think
I was like, every time I watched him, like, yeah, dude, he hit people hard. But man, the amount of times he's just in the wrong
I think
spot.
it's safe to say that Lewis Seen was a major benefit of playing on that defense.
Yes,
Fair.
I think
The
that's
fact
fair
that
to say.
he got to play with those guys on that defense allowed him to play the style of safety that he did, where I don't care what the heck's going on, but whoever crosses my path, I'm just going to lay the hell out of.
I will also say this. His closing speed and his ability to just blast on the interior offensive line when he was in that 21 defense, you're absolutely right. He did benefit from this, but there's no denying he played his best football.
Dude.
Oh, he's
he
a
played his
freak
best
athlete.
football in 2021.
And tremendously fun football player to watch. Never felt he ever found the football, though. The ball was in the air. He wasn't getting it.
He had some really good plays against Tennessee in 2021, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Now, is he one of, like, I hate doing this. His NFL career kind of shows, like, there were certain limitations when it came to his play, but I think he was a very good safety.
To my point about not being able to find the football, I think the last story I heard about Lewis was the Giants trying to make him into a linebacker.
Oh, he's on I think the Eagles did that as well with him.
Yeah.
So we moved closer to the football because I don't think we could really turn and run.
Yeah.
You know? So,
But no, I will say that Lewis Seen had a very good 2021 season.
that's fair.
Very impactful player.
Let's watch some prospects, I guess. Let's do this.
You
Yeah.
don't want to rank the
Huh?
You don't want to rank the games, or
What do you want to do?
I mean, it's not my name on.
Let's
the wall.
rank games. Let's do it. All right. And this gives us a new opportunity to introduce our new toy here in the studio. Dun, 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 dun. Boom!
Ooh, we've got a whiteboard now.
We have a whiteboard now. Oh, the green marker not doing us justice here.
Yeah, no,
Where should
green
we
doesn't
go?
u- green
maybe
doesn't
just
usually
like
show
right
up.
here. Maybe move back a little bit. We're good right there.
Well, let me
All
know
right.
when you're,
So here's what we've got. We've got the regular season schedule. We have the postseason schedule. What we're going to do here, guys, is as you can see over here, we're going to rank them 1 through 14. Now, my question to you is quality of game or quality of win or performance in team? Like, what are we doing here?
I rank this by quality of game, as because like ESPN dropped the top 100 games of the 2025 season. We did our own top 5 games last night. I want to just go back and look at these games just objectively. What was the quality of the game? Obviously, some of Georgia's losses are going to rank higher than some Georgia wins here. This is not a Georgia performance standard because otherwise the 2 losses would be at the bottom. We all get that.
Yeah.
So I started off with, and Jay, I don't know if you made a list as well. You want to push back on this. Number 14, Austin P.
Start at the bottom. Austin P. I'm good with that.
I mean, let's not forget. This was the Hurricane game. There was a 2-hour delay.
Oh, yeah.
There was I believe
We were sitting in the truck, like we had just gotten to Athens, and we were in the media parking lot, and we got the notification that the game got moved up.
Yeah. The game was moved up. There was a delay because of the weather. Georgia scored 28 points. It was just a very
Shout out
slow-
to Dean Legge, the first time a start time to the University of Georgia game had been moved since like the 40s.
It's
Wow.
crazy.
Did not know that.
Day of, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's a good shout. Austin P. Poop game.
Yeah.
awful
Poop
game.
game.
Number 13 on my list is Charlotte. Another one of these. It's a late November game, just sacrificial lamb. 35-3 final. Some exciting moments, but overall, the definition of a tune-up game.
There you go.
Assuming Marshall's right after that.
Correct. I put Marshall at 12 because that was the first game of the season. There's the excitement. There's the what does Gunnar Stockton look like, the anticipation. There was none of that in Charlotte. You knew the team that you had. And It was kind of just, hey, let's just get out of here with the win.
I felt like Marshall felt that way too. Marshall's like, let's just get out of here today.
Yes, but also like, we get to see Gunnar Stockton as a starter. We get to see Zachariah Branch for the first time. We get to see all these transfers and all these freshmen that we hyped up.
Am I going to see the Kentucky Wildcats right here at 11?
You are going to see the
Yep.
Kentucky
That
Wildcats
was a
at
poop
11.
game.
All
What,
right.
Jonathan?
I'd put the loss there. Put
No.
the game you lost there.
Again, this is not by Georgia. This is by the quality of the game
I
as
say
a whole.
F that. Yeah, the game we lost, yeah, put it at number 11.
I'd put Bama at 14.
Borderline,
man.
put it at 14.
That's your debate?
We probably should have conferred on this beforehand.
I mean, this is the
Did you
point of the
enjoy-
segment. Let's argue.
Did you enjoy Austin P more, or did you enjoy losing to Bama more and ending the win streak?
In my head, I'm putting that game as I'm making this list as a non-biased, objective college football watcher.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
Well, in my biased opinion, it's at the bottom.
In my biased opinion, we're not acknowledging the game.
Fine. That's fine by me, too.
Didn't happen. They played 12 games this season. I don't know what happened to the other two. I don't know why they didn't win the championship. But no, my number 10 is Mississippi State. Also one of these games where looked like it was going to be an exciting matchup at first, but obviously Georgia got on them very quickly. Was a lot of explosive plays in this, a lot of fun moments, something Kentucky didn't really have, so that's why I have it higher than that. Watching Nate Frazier rattle off, 30 and 40-yard gashers. Noah Thomas had a big touchdown. That's why I have this as the number 10 game.
Gunner died a couple times in that football game, too.
Unfortunately, again, something we need to get to stop happening. Number 9, the second Alabama matchup, the SEC championship game.
What?
Christian.
That goes right here, baby.
Number 1?
Christian.
That goes right here.
Christian.
Again, this is not personal satisfaction as a Georgia fan.
You're out. I'm
Your
out on
list.
this segment, too.
Your list.
I thought we were
I'm out,
building
brother. I'm out.
we beat the curse. To hell with them.
I'm out, brother.
We beat
Guys,
the shit out of them.
This is not a personal... Obviously, the Georgia fan in me wants that to be number 1. This is not a personal satisfaction list. We'll do that after. We can do that list next. I am so fine with that.
But isn't the whole point of ranking Georgia's wins and losses this year like the point of the satisfaction of the games?
I did this as ESPN ranked the top 100 games objectively. We did the top 5 games objective. Let's do the top 14.
All right, let's do your objective list. Let's finish this up. And then Jonathan and I will do the real one.
I understand what you're doing, but this is not at all what I thought this segment was.
We'll rank them by satisfaction. So Austin P, Charlotte, and Marshall obviously hold the next bottom 3 spots after that. I think we can all agree with that.
Okay. What, over here?
Yeah, so Austin P at 12.
Austin P.
Yeah.
Charlotte
We'll
at
keep
11.
that order.
Okay.
I'm cool with that.
Are you fine with Kentucky at 10?
Yes.
Yeah. Kentucky at 10's fine.
And you're fine with Mississippi State at 8?
Well, you kind of, yeah.
Yes.
All right, so now I guess we'll do a completely other list of this. This is what happens when we don't go over things like this in pre-show.
Look,
I think it goes better this way, honestly.
I understand what you were trying to do of like.
I respect your efforts, but your list is shit.
Like you wanted to do this in the national perspective
Yes.
of like somebody who has no ties whatsoever
Yes.
to this program. This is how I'd rank those games. Completely understand. I would still argue that there's argument for that game to be number 1 still.
Okay, but we are putting
SEC
Bama. We are putting the SEC
championship?
championship.
Yeah, for
up here.
like what it meant for a program in a season.
Yes,
Yeah.
that 1,000% no pushback there.
And then the Texas one probably too.
Ole Miss. No, Tennessee. Tennessee.
Oh
beating
that
the,
Tennessee win felt
Tennessee,
so freaking
yeah.
good.
Also getting to say that you did. It's 10 games now, is it not correct?
9
7.
games.
9 games. You have a 9-game streak over the Tennessee Volunteers. You did it in an overtime win in their stadium. That is the second most satisfying game. Next is Ole Miss.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Seeing your offense score points on every single drive, satisfying. Next, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
What you think, Florida or the Texas game? I
Florida.
feel like the Texas win was
Florida.
okay.
Brother. It's the Florida Gators.
Okay. To hell with the Gators.
We don't give a damn about Texas.
And then Texas?
Texas hadn't beaten us since the Sugar Bowl. We don't give a shit about that.
And then Texas.
See, if we're going to do the list Georgia way now, we'll do it. Yes, Texas is next.
Okay, where's this Georgia Tech game at?
Ooh, I don't.
Right here.
The Georgia Tech game was
I
not
don't-
that
I-
What do we have left? We got Auburn and
Hold
Georgia
on.
Tech.
Hold on. I would do this a little differently. For me personally, like now I'm trying to think of like memorable moments in games. I might have Florida outside of the top 5, and I'd slip in Auburn.
So you want to go?
I put Florida at 6. Texas
go
at
like
5,
this?
to be honest.
I am not putting a 25-point victory over Texas.
But it's like memorable moments.
Like the onside kick.
The onside kick against Texas was legendary. Like that's a play that you'll remember for a very long time.
Gunnar Stockton took a knee to beat Florida, to stop their hopes and dreams. The most
Their
disrespect.
hopes and dreams were shat upon.
Already. No, their hopes of dreams of beating a top 5 Georgia team when they've lost 4 games in a row to them. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Didn't they?
But I think that the Auburn game is objectively more memorable than the Florida game this past year.
I will hear out the Auburn. I do not like Texas inside the top 4.
All right, so your debate is moving this down here.
Yes, I would say you go Auburn 4, Florida 5, Texas 6. The Georgia Tech win was like kind of satisfying, but it's not nearly as satisfying as it was the year before.
What's chat saying?
I don't know. I was trying to see what chat was saying. They are saying that winning at Auburn was better than beating Texas. That's according to one
We
person
went with
in
that.
chat. Yeah. Like that. Ugh.
Like, look,
Oh, man, I wish y'all could have seen my point of view of that Auburn loss. Watching that Auburn AD go ballistic was,
the
man,
Texas
that was pure.
The Texas win was a ton of fun to watch as someone who actually got to be a fan in the stands for that one. But it's Texas. Like, we don't share hundreds of years of history with them. They're not one of our biggest rivals.
I agree, but I would also say, like, in a couple of years or however, like when we're looking back on the 2025 season, I feel like that Texas game is more memorable than the Florida win.
That's fair.
In my opinion. Again, that's just my opinion, but that was a night game. The environment was freaking awesome. You got the onside kick. You had this clash of two teams where, despite Georgia beating Texas twice last year, their fan base had the nerve to say that they ran the SEC still, that your little brother, we're better than you, we're the new hot show in the SEC, and you beat the absolute crap out of them. And on top of that, Arch Manning was the quarterback in this game. There's some flair to that Texas win, despite the fact maybe it wasn't as close.
For sure. I would argue, however, a fourth quarter drive to win a game against a team that you've had a rivalry against has been your most hated rival, and then you air out the game. You end the game with your quarterback kneeling on the goal line. I'm siding with Florida by. I hear the Texas arguments out for it.
We good?
Yeah.
I think we're good.
I think this is going to come in handy at some point on this network.
Oh, it already has.
You know what I'm really excited for? During the season when we do Whiteboard Wednesday.
Ooh, Whiteboard Wednesday. What's that?
Whiteboard Wednesday is going to hit. I'm telling you. It's going to be a major hit. I'm also loving the idea of some of my coaching buddies coming in this offseason and getting on this here board with me and then immediately moving this board out of the way and having film ready to go right after that. I mean, could you imagine if I had like a DB coach in here and we're breaking down cover 3 and then we slide the board out of the way and boom, there's a film cut of all 22 of cover 3 and we break down the print. I mean, come on now.
We're moving on up in the world now.
Huh?
We're moving on up in the world.
We are moving on up in the world. I mentioned that because it's going to happen. It's going to happen very, very soon. Jonathan, be on alert because I got some coaches coming in town to recruit and they kind of want to slide by the studio. I don't know when, so just kind of be ready to drop whatever it is you're doing.
Oh, all right.
And come over here and do some work. Okay?
All right.
We'll fix that later. Y'all want to hee-ho hum around for 5 minutes?
We can.
Sure. What would you like to hum around about?
I don't know. What's Chapman talking about?
They're still talking about this.
Still
past
debating, ranking the games.
Who's your favorite Portal edition so far, Jonathan?
I haven't watched the tape yet, but I have a feeling it's going to be Jamarlee Riddle.
Jamarlee Riddle is my.
Have a feeling
also
about that
my
one.
candidate for favorite Portal edition.
I was at a Camden County Walton High School playoff game a couple years ago when Elias was a rising junior going into his senior year, and Jamarlee was a starting running back and linebacker at Camden at the time, and the head coach that ended up signing him, Blake Harrell, that coached him at East Carolina, was the defensive coordinator at the time. He was actually there recruiting him, and he was like, hey, whatever you do, don't tell nobody about this kid. Nobody. And I said, I got you, baby. Ends up going to ECU, starts for 2 years. Now he a dog.
You know, it's funny that we didn't mention this earlier in the show when we were talking about Indiana's strategy where they're getting kids from these smaller programs that most people probably overlook. Jamarlee Riddle comes from one of those programs, I would say. Looks like he's going to be a really good football player.
He is already a really, really good football player. We talked about him a lot last night. His confidence in his striking ability is really, really impressive. Mm-hmm. A lot of kids breaking down very early nowadays. Not him. He is going to come to balance about, a yard and a half from strike point and then uncoil like an absolute cobra. I love the Amaris Williams tape as
Yeah,
well.
that one could
Yeah.
be long-term the
Yeah.
most impactful just because he has multiple years of eligibility remaining.
Who's the most impactful transfer on the offensive side right now? I'm blanking on all the names that
Well,
they
it'd be Dante Dowdell or Isaiah Canyon.
It would be Isaiah Canyon. Yeah, like they didn't do a complete overhaul. That they didn't need to, but they didn't add like that name's exciting. Like there wasn't a Zachariah Branch in this portal class or a Noah Thomas. There's like Isaiah Cannon's going to be a really good receiver for them. But
Somebody asked me about the Yannick kid, the Yannick Smith, I think is his name, the wide receiver from ECU. That was a kid when you go do what I do in the spring, you start seeing, and you're like, how in the coach? No offense, but how is he here? Oh, official Darian Mensah transfer to
I
Miami.
see that.
I'm shocked by
Sky
this.
is blue. But no, the Yannick kid, there's a lot of that in South Carolina and in North Carolina of football players that have no business not being big-time Power 4 recruits. They just get overlooked. There's a lot of smaller towns that play decent football that not a lot of people go recruit. I've always said, like, metros here in Atlanta are over-recruited.
Yeah.
Like, to an extreme, to an extent where, like, before I got into recruiting, I was one of those people that was like, I hate high school transfers. I hate when kids leave school A to go to school B. If you're good enough, they'll find you. It's a whole lot easier to be found at some of these schools. I'm just being honest with you. Now that I know, like it is, I understand why kids transfer to certain schools because they know for a fact if I go there and I play, I have a really good chance of being a Division I offered kid. Now, whether or not I go play Division I is a whole nother discussion, but I got the offer. And that's all that really matters in these recruitment cycles because once you get one offer, normally one turns into six turns into 12. So it does matter. Some of these big schools, it does matter. I don't even know how we got there. But no, I'm good. Y'all good?
I think
I
we're
believe
good.
so.
Appreciate you for being here. We will be back tomorrow for film study. We got 2 film studies coming up tomorrow. We'll be back live Thursday night, 8 o'clock here on the network. Love you. Bye.